603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie. Oh, sorry, a little early for them.
Bare arms.
And Richie Rich.
And we are here doing Free Talk Live together, and it's Richie Rich's
Free Talk Live anniversary.
How many years have you been?
7 years.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
2019. Super Bowl Sunday 2019 was
Nice.
my first show. So that's Super Bowl Sunday is how I mark my Free Talk Live anniversaries.
And that's usually like on the first Sunday of February?
Early
Is that what
February,
it is?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact date. It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, me
it's I mark it on the holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Thanksgiving's not always on the same date, but we always call it Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
My Free Talk Live anniversary is Super Bowl Sunday.
I need to find out my exact one. I honestly think it could be February as well.
Okay.
Because I moved here in January and I didn't start right away because I wasn't going to. And then, anyways, that would be fun to know too. But
And
it's
stuff
not
happens.
7. Yeah, it's not 7. It would be like 5.
Were you on before the raid?
I was, but it was
Okay.
only a couple times, and
Okay, because the raid
barely
was
have
in
memory of
March.
that. Yeah.
Right, yeah, okay. So it could have been February.
I barely have any memory of it too. It's really weird. I remember being on with Mark before, and Mark and Ian I meant, and they were saying that I didn't talk much, and I was like, I didn't feel like I had anything to add.
Yeah.
The whole show.
Like, it's great that you were in the first seat and Lori's occasionally in the first seat. I don't know how often she's, back here. But for a while, there was always like an undertone with females on the show where they kind of this is going to sound, sexist or whatever, but subjugated themselves to the males on the show.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess
there's been a
so.
lot of females who just never spoke up enough to get their time during the show.
And I just it just took a long time for me to start doing that. It's not that I.
Understood.
Yeah.
But they also didn't give them a lot of chance. Like, oh, she wasn't talking very much. Like,
That's what
no
Ian
need
would
to have her
always
on
do.
the phone. Yeah.
Ian would always say why didn't you talk? And I'm like, I felt like you literally wanted to say everything you said, and he's like, no, I just kept talking because you.
No dead air, man.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
Yeah.
that when he's doing it though. So it's professional. But anyways, it doesn't bother me. It's not like it's like he was trying to speak over me. I just guess you gotta sometimes just jump in.
Yeah. And that was made clear to me day one early on. Where we're going to keep talking. If you have something to say, just interrupt and no one takes it personally.
Nice. Yeah.
So if I interrupt a lot, that was my instructions from the beginning.
Yep. I recently had to tell Angelo to interrupt Mr. Penguin.
Yeah. You got to.
Yeah.
That dude, you got to cut him off.
Well.
Otherwise, we'll get into the very nuanced intricacies of Linux.
Yes. Well, Free Talk Live is all about you being able to call in and bring up whatever's on your mind, and that number is 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 to bring up whatever's on your mind. Gen Z, the first generation officially dubbed dumber than the last. I'm a millennial, though.
Okay.
I'm making kind of a joke because I'm always
they put the dates
I'm
in there. They put the dates in there.
Oh, let's see what they say.
And the years at least. And I sent this to my mom because I think my son is technically Gen Z. And so it was funny.
Yeah.
So I didn't send it to him, though. I don't have, not that mean.
Be mean, yeah.
I am. I really am that mean, but not on this one.
It doesn't. I feel like that couldn't possibly actually totally offend someone. See, this is a very weird one
They're
because
dumb.
this one is saying that 2010 is Gen Z, and I've never seen that ever. So
Okay.
they don't know. I feel more Gen Z than millennial, and I'm 1996, and they're telling me in this article that I'm millennial. Whatever. I just don't. Then I'm nothing because I am nothing like all of the tenets of a millennial. I wasn't there for walking around a mall myself as a teenager, or as a preteen and stuff like that. No,
Yep.
that was not a thing. Going outside and playing, yeah, until the lights turned on, sure. But that was also because I was in small military places, I think, because a lot of people that my age said that was not the case where they lived. I don't know.
Some of us had
In between.
overprotective parents and weren't allowed to go to the mall by ourselves for a very long time.
Yeah, I definitely was not allowed to do that, but also it wasn't the thing. By the time I was in high school, we always just hung out together in the neighborhood and in our cars and at
Okay.
each other's houses, but not really the mall.
Yeah.
In fact, anytime I did hang out at the mall, it was with my older sister and her friends.
Okay.
So it seems to me that's a millennial thing.
It is.
And older.
Yeah. Because I got in trouble one time for going to the mall after I said I wasn't going to the mall. And like my parents were going to go to the mall. They're like, "Oh, kids, like, oh, you guys want to go to the mall?" And I went, "No, I'm good. I got homework to finish."
Yeah.
And then I finished my homework quickly. And my friends were like, "Do you want to go to the mall?" I'm like, "Yeah, now let's go to the mall. Like, I don't have, my homework is done." And so went to the mall, ran into the parents, and they're like, "Oh, I thought you said you weren't going to come. Like, what are you doing?" I was like,
You're
"I
in
finished
trouble
my,
for
I
that,
finished
but
my
you were
homework."
invited.
Yeah, I finished my homework. And so I came.
Are you a millennial?
Some will say so. There's a small group of us from like 79 to 82 that are cusp generation.
That's exactly
Like
what I am.
the Xennials,
Yeah.
the Xennials,
Yeah.
it's spelled with an X. And I accept that more so than millennial.
Yeah, and a lot of people like to call that zillennial, but I think I'm a zillennial with a Z. It makes more sense.
And I got
So-
into it with Peakless about this as well because I called it Xennials because
Yeah.
that's how you pronounce the X. And he's like, "No,
Yeah.
that's not. It's not a Z. It's an X." I'm like, "Well, you tell me then." And he said Xennial.
Yeah, sure. Just
So
to be
whatever.
more clear, you're
Just to be more
Xennial.
clear, it's
Yeah.
not the Z one. It's the Xennials.
Yep. Yeah,
So-
I'm definitely. Are you Gen X? Is that what you are?
I don't know. I
You
don't
don't have
really...
to say the year you're born if you don't
No,
want.
I probably am. I believe I'm at the bottom end of Gen X or
I don't
whatever the one
remember-
is next over.
Where
It's
it starts?
2026. You self-describe as whatever you want.
I don't remember what when it starts, but my parents in 1970 are Gen X, and it's like up to like 78, but it's got to be like 15 years before that too. So maybe
Right.
you're Gen X.
But 79 is not a millennial necessarily. Like that's the cusp, right?
Yeah.
Like they're more Gen X than they are millennials. And
yeah, those people were definitely like the
Yeah.
same people that were my friends' parents. Like those people being 9 years younger than my parents, but absolutely possible for their kid to be in high school with me.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So like,
And I like the Xennial because they describe it as like analog childhood, digital adulthood.
oh, I think I've either heard you say that or heard it before, and it makes a lot of sense.
Right. Like when I went to college, I eventually got a laptop, but I showed up with like TVs and a typewriter. Right. Like no one had computers in the classroom or like one dude who had like, something or other, but we all had like paper and pen notes all through college for the most part, and then computers took off and the internet took off. I dial up internet at my apartment because, cable internet, the high speed wasn't all that available at the time. And so
I've had dial up in my house as a kid.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it was a thing that happened for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it was abnormal or anything, but
Well-
I didn't like have other I was like 5. So
in high school, I didn't even care. Right, I played video games, and that was it. And my sister and some of her friends, and because she's 3 years younger than me, they were always in some weird chat room on AOL or whatever because my mom paid for it or whatever. And but I was like, this is dumb. I'd sit
Yeah.
there and watch them. I'm like, this is dumb. I'm going back to the video games. So
I'm too young for AOL, but I did have a MySpace. But I was kind of young for having a MySpace too.
Yeah.
Like I just made one, and my mom didn't know what that was, or like my parents didn't know what it was, or they never questioned me about it. So I
Yep.
just had a MySpace. When other people my age were like, "Dang, you're allowed to have a MySpace," I was like, I didn't ask. I just made one. But
I got a MySpace and a Facebook at the same time,
oh yeah.
and this was like mid aughts.
Like when you
somewhere
made
around
a
there.
Facebook was the first time you made a MySpace as well?
Yeah,
Or
I
you
made
just
it at the
made
same
both?
time.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
MySpace was on its way out, and at the time they were like practically exactly the same. And the people that I wanted to talk to at the time were more on MySpace. So I'm like, this is also dumb. And then MySpace kind of faded, Facebook kind of ramped up, and I switched over. And
I loved MySpace, so like I didn't want to switch. And like all my friends, like right about like 8th grade or something, they're like, "No, Facebook's way better, dude. You need to switch." And it wasn't way better. It's just where all my friends were. So
Yep. Well, that makes it way better.
Yeah, I
Like
was
that's what made it take over.
yeah, I was forced to use it more, and I never used MySpace ever again. It's just like it genuinely was not as cool. Like you couldn't
Yeah.
customize your page. You couldn't like they took
Yep.
away your identity that you had on MySpace.
My sister had her background as whatever pictures she had, and she
Yeah.
had her music playlist that would automatically play.
Yep, me too.
Like, oh my gosh, look how cool my friend's page is.
Yep. And the top 8 friends and stuff like that. Maybe Facebook does that too. I don't remember now.
Not anymore. If they did, not anymore.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
had a Facebook since 2020 at all anyway.
Okay.
Other than I technically made one so that way I can like if I need to click on a freaking restaurant's website that's only on Facebook, that pisses me off.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I technically have one. I don't know how much it's like tracking me. I didn't put my real name on it or anything.
Then don't worry about it. This
Yeah,
is the
thanks,
one thing
Molly.
that, again, you brought up like Mr. Penguin earlier, right? Like just create a fake one, dude. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you don't have to give them real information.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's where things are done. And if you're not there, you miss out.
Yeah,
And if you'd rather miss out, like that's fine, but
I
that's
totally
where we
miss out
organize.
socially. Like I don't use it socially at all.
Okay.
But I followed my cousin's art page because I like to like support her and buy some of her stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And then it's like I said, like sometimes you'll need to go to a website or a link, and it doesn't let
Facebook.
you because
Yeah.
it's Facebook. So, anyways.
Like I used to have a dodgeball game when I was living in Hawaii, and we played like every Sunday. And occasionally the venue would change because, you know, like we got invited to play someplace else against some other team that was played at a different park, you know, and we would like announce that stuff on Facebook. And there was one dude who just refused to get a Facebook page. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm principled and I'm not doing it. But then he'd show up to play and no one's there. He's like, oh, what happened to you guys?
What the heck?
You know, like, dude, we told you on Facebook that we're going to be at a different park this week. Like, just create a fake account.
Yeah, give
like
them
all you gotta do
fake
is create a
info.
fake account, put a fake name on there, just join the group. You know, you'll only get the notifications from the group. You don't have to do anything else. But like, this is where we organize.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've never really had to like needed one that bad for like a thing like that, but yeah.
Yeah.
If I did, I would just use my one that the name is like offensive. I made the name
Sure.
offensive.
Well, which is fine. But like, you know, the Forkfest people, are you involved in this at all?
I just made a signal and I told them don't
Okay.
bridge my signal chat. Leave if you don't like it because I don't like their old account. I don't like their old ones. Like
So
I've seen it on the info.
There's
and I
like a
don't
Forkfest on Signal. There's a Forkfest on Matrix. There's a Forkfest on Telegram.
Mm-hmm.
And again, yours isn't bridged. So there's like some drama.
Yeah,
and
some people were mad about it. I'm like, well, just
Right.
make another signal and bridge it. It's fine.
don't make any more. Just organize on Facebook. All the tools are there It's for this
and you know-
one specific purpose, and you don't have to use your real name.
And Colin is always saying it like Facebook is the best place to organize things because it's like, well, say somebody's like gonna have this stupid side convo, it doesn't crap up the place. It's just
Yeah.
like it's like one post and people can engage or not, but the entire page is still about the main topic.
Right.
But I don't think I feel like
Facebook has the tools for this. You don't have to recreate it. You just have to be surreptitious about how you use it.
I can't even remember ever being in a Facebook page. Like I feel
You're
like
not in a
those got
page. You like a
bigger.
page. You're in a
Oh,
group.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I've never been in a group on
Okay.
Facebook. Like when I was in high school, it was more like DMing my friends and just being friends and seeing their statuses. And
Yeah.
I feel like things changed a bit after
did.
that. Yeah.
Facebook changed. You know, they had pages. Now they have professional pages, you know, or professional accounts where you can have friends and followers.
Yeah, I remember one of the first ones I ever saw like that was Kim Kardashian. I was like, that's so weird. It's not just like, oh, Kim Kardashian's Facebook page anymore. It's like a
Well, because they
like
limited you to
page.
5,000 friends, right?
Hmm.
And they're like, oh, what do you do if you're like a big celebrity? You can't have more than 5,000 people follow
It's
you.
still 5,000 friends.
I don't know. I don't know if
Oh.
they've upped that.
Hmm.
I don't pay that close attention. But what I do know is Facebook has the tools necessary for these types of engagements.
I'm surprised you're not kicked off it by now.
It's because I don't post anymore. I've gotten several like warnings and bans, and I went, well, I'm just not gonna.
Yeah.
You know, I'll comment on someone else's post. Right, I'm in a couple of video game groups, and some, oh, I need help with this thing, and like I know the answer, and I'm the first person to read it, so I'll comment. I use it, you know, the Messenger to like for Marketplace and to keep up with other friends who I only know their Facebook.
Sometimes I
handle.
think I'd like Marketplace, but not badly enough to have like a whole other thing to like steal my attention.
Well, you're missing out because if you're trying to find
sure.
like used goods, like Craigslist is no longer the place.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I just like never need anything like that. Like I have all the furniture I could possibly need. Never need anything
Okay.
like that. Maybe like it would have been crazy if I found recently I needed a used dishwasher and I've got that. I got a regular dishwasher. I just paid for
Yeah.
it. I mean, not used. But not the other day, like a few months ago, I was like, I really want something that can laminate this. Like I'm making stickers, and I want something that can laminate my stickers, but you can't use heat for stickers.
Okay.
And so I was like, I wonder if there's something like that. Didn't really look into it much, and also didn't want to like spend much money on it. Like I was barely thinking about it, and then I went to the thrift store just to see if I could find my friends and people in my life good Christmas. So it was around Christmas gifts without like that much money, and I ran to a lamp. I was like, this thing looks like that's what it is.
Okay.
And it's an old school crank arm $5 heatless laminator.
Sure.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's just like a silly story or whatever.
But now
It was
you're
awesome.
now you're randomly going into thrift stores.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for
Yeah.
that, to be honest. I was just like, that'd be crazy if I
But
found
that's
that there
that's
too.
the old way to do it, right? Now you got to like go out and take your chances at a Goodwill or Salvation Army or a garage sale, right, and hope that they have what you're looking for.
And this is a crappier one than that. So I honestly felt like it was like crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, is this like a sign?
Or you jump on Facebook Marketplace and like, someone in your area might have one. If they don't, how much time did you actually spend on this? 5 minutes?
Yeah, but it's
As
not just
opposed to
that. It's
driving
like,
around town?
I feel like I'd like get on Facebook and I'd be like, oh, what are they saying? And then I'd be on there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
Well,
that is what I would do for sure.
Sure. And know yourself then, because I don't have that problem.
Yeah, because like I used to have that problem with Twitter as well. Like
Yeah.
just being on there and I'm like, holy crap, it's been how long? But
Yeah.
they shadow banned me and I don't care that the shadow ban websites say I'm not shadow banned. I know I'm shadow banned. Like I got myself organically up to 3,100 followers. Every time I post something, like people mostly engaged with it, unless it was like just a terribly boring thing like that I
Yeah.
post. Like, but even then, it's like I post something terribly boring. It has like lots of views and like nobody wanted to interact with it. That's fine. But ever since this one day that I got a notification that said like we're reviewing your account because it looks like you might have violated something, which I've never gotten that before. Even though like you can get something on a specific post that says like you need to delete this and you're even banned for 7 days and stuff like that. This was totally different. Never heard of anyone getting this. It was like a notification just letting you know in my notifications, your whole account is under review, and until then, your account's gonna be throttled. And then the
Okay.
very next morning, I was like, "Well, what can I do?" There's no button to like.
It's all automated.
So the next morning, they said, "Oh, you're all good to go." Never has it ever recovered ever again. It's like I post something, even something I know people are gonna care about, like something like that. Like normally people would care about. I don't know how to explain it. Like things that I'm like, every time I post something like this, people like it. Like free Ian stuff. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people follow me because they know who Ian is and stuff. And it hits like 140 views, which is totally low, and never goes above that. And if it's like dragged above that, it's like 200. Oh my
Okay.
views, not likes and stuff. Like it'll be like 0 likes. You see what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
and it hits
Nobody's
that.
interacting, and they're not promoting it.
Yep, and it like hits that immediately and then never goes above it. Like that makes no sense to me.
Okay.
So clearly I'm shadow banned. I don't care that the websites say I'm not.
But what's the alternative? Are you gonna be more active on Mastodon?
I'm
Right, are you
more
gonna-
active on Signal now, and definitely, and people have noticed. They're like, "You're always in the chats." Yeah, because they banned me on Twitter.
Yeah,
you wish I was on Twitter talking to celebrities. You
Yeah, but
want me there.
are you getting more engagements from like the groups you're in on Signal?
I guess it depends on what you mean. It's like I don't
It's
feel like
spreading
I.
the message of liberty.
That's the thing. I don't really think so because it's
Okay.
like all my Signal groups are people I know. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of more pointless. It feels like I literally lost like a big, like, microphone of mine. You
Right.
see what I mean?
And
it's like I
all I'm
worked
saying is
hard
like
for it.
Twitter's the biggest microphone. Like
Yeah,
you're not
I
going to
agree.
move to Mastodon. You're not going to move to like Blue Sky.
No.
Or maybe Threads, but that's a Facebook thing, right? So if you get on Facebook, maybe you get some traction with Threads.
And it's really annoying too
knows?
because it's like I like spent a lot of time on it for one thing, and for another thing it's like I only ever got on Twitter and really spent any time on it like seriously, like to be serious about it, because Ian went to jail and I wanted to like have a place to tell people like this is what happened, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's how I got my following. It's like, yeah, I used it for lots of like random stupid stuff too, like because I'm like, I always admitted on the show I'm like a celebrity culture person and I don't care. It's like Angelo has his sports ball
Sure.
and I don't like just tell him he can't do that, whatever. But anyways, it like, a vice, I guess is the word. No, there's another word for it that I'm thinking of, like it's a habit, a bad habit, but
Following sports ball or being on Twitter?
it's mine is the like interacting with celebrity gossip on Twitter is like
Okay.
my dirty secret. That's not the word I'm looking for. What the heck? It's like my guilty pleasure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sounded so much worse than I meant for it to sound.
Guilty pleasure.
But yeah, so all I'm saying is that like even though I would do stuff like that, like I still got important stuff done on Twitter, even though I also wasted a lot of time.
Yeah. It can
So-
definitely suck you in. And what I've always said about the social media when it comes up here is like just be more mindful with how you use it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't feel attached to it at all. Like I check it when I have nothing better to do. Like I'm probably on my phone a lot on average. But I'm on my phone mostly when I'm at work. And then when I get home, like I rarely touch my phone because I've got the real stuff. I got the video games, the TV shows, whatever. I'm
Do you
doing
play
stuff
a lot of
around the
video
house.
games with friends on there that you know from
No.
at least on the internet? Oh.
No, I'm mostly a solo gamer.
Yeah. I mean, I only play Angry
It's
Birds.
part of being a Zennial. right? Like
Yeah.
if it's not on the couch, right? If it's not couch co-op, I don't need internet friends.
Yeah, maybe I'm like slightly millennial in the way that I never was a person that played games that connected with other people except Neopets. That's
Okay.
like that was my big thing when I was a kid. Like throughout a long period of my childhood, like 10 whole years, I'd get all my friends on Neopets. But I never played anything like Call of Duty, which I know it's like a boy thing, but some girls played
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
Or
I've got a
Roblox.
friend in Hawaii that I've played occasionally with, and it's once in a great while. It's unsustainable, and he has more time to play than I do. So there's always this like level imbalance. He's like, dude, you got to play Helldivers. I'm like, I don't really need to play Helldivers. He's like, I want to play Helldivers. I'm like, all right. So I bought the game. I'm like, dude, you didn't tell me I need a subscription to also play Helldivers. He's like, I'll pay for your subscription. So he paid for my subscription. And then by the time I started, he was like level 100 and I was like level 5. And I'm just like,
You're dragging his team down or
I'm
something.
like little brother. I'm just
Yeah.
following him around, watching him blow everything up. I'm like, I'm never going to catch up to you, man. Because
That's
like,
hilarious.
you're going to play all day tomorrow while I'm at work and you'll be at level 150. And when we come on tomorrow night, I'll still be at level 5,
That's
So-
really bad. Yeah, I
Right.
would get bored doing that too, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And that happened with my ex with, oh man, I can't think of the name. Diablo. We played Diablo 3. And she played way more than me and was way ahead in the game by the time I decided to join her for co-op. So it was, again, she was like level 30. I'm like level 1. I'm like, I'm just dying
You're just dragging
everywhere.
her down.
Just dragging everyone down. It's like, we need to start over at the same level and only play together so that we level up together and this is not stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. And that, I
But
mean,
that was more fun because she was on the couch next to me.
Yeah.
Right, on like one TV, not with a weird headset trying to coordinate over the internet.
I know people that are like, I've met my best friends in my life, like over the headsets on the internet,
Yep.
and I can't relate, like, even though that is like technically people in my generation that did that. But anyways, also I could never see very far, and then in 6th grade I was like, oh, I need glasses. So like I played Nintendo, but not like TV games.
Okay.
Anyways,
Sit closer to the TV.
more
Ignore your
Free
parents'
Talk
advice.
Live coming up. No, I wasn't allowed to, so that's why. More Free Talk Live coming up. 603-283-6160. It's Free Talk Live.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman. Nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran have ended with little evidence either side has budged from its demands. Neither side spoke face-to-face. The talks instead were mediated by Oman, with the U.S. delegation led by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi called the talks a good start, but said deep distrust is a serious challenge to the negotiations. He said Friday's talks were limited to Iran's nuclear program that has not been confirmed by the U.S., but if it is true, it would fall short of Washington's demands to also discuss Tehran's missile program, the backing of regional militias, and the killing of protesters. This is the first time the two sides have talked since the U.S. strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities last June. And it comes amid a massive U.S. military buildup in the Middle East, which President Trump has threatened to use if Iran doesn't end its nuclear program. The U.S. has arrested a man suspected of helping to plan and orchestrate the 2012 attack on the U.S. mission in Benghazi, Libya. 4 Americans died, including the U.S. ambassador. FSN's Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Zubai al-Bakush has been brought to the United States to stand trial, arriving early Friday morning at Andrews Air Base, just outside of Washington, D.C. He's charged with crimes including the 4 murders, including that of U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens. It's unclear how long he's been in U.S. custody, ahead of Friday's announcement by the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. The 2012 assault on the U.S. mission created political division, with Republicans blaming the then Obama administration's response and saying there had been insufficient security at the compound.
A ransom deadline in the abduction of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie has passed as new details about what's in that letter emerge. TMZ, which is one of at least 3 media outlets that claim to have received the ransom note, says there are specific details about the placement of Nancy's Apple Watch that could prove its authenticity. FSN's Mitch McCann reports.
Her family has now posted a second video in which her son Cameron asks Nancy's kidnappers to make contact and prove that she is safe.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly.
The video comes as investigators look into reported ransom notes sent to various media outlets. Nancy is believed to have been taken from her property after arriving home late last Saturday night, and officials say her blood was found in the vicinity of the home.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. That's the phone number to bring up whatever is on your mind, getting on the conversation with us, and talk about whatever you want. Fork Fest is back at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. This June 22nd to 29th, come camp with people who actually think and live like libertarians. Jump on a soapbox and give a speech if you'd like to give one, or listen to others. Vend or enjoy food and wares from other vendors. Fork Fest is what you want it to be. There's no ticket cost and no one is in charge. Forkfest.party for more info. That's FORKfest.party for more info. Forkfest.party. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Bear arms.
And Richie Rich.
And
you say no one's in charge of Fork Fest, but there's a lot of drama and a lot of people trying to pretend like they're in charge.
I have noticed the same thing.
Across the various group organizing platforms of which they're trying to figure out what to do with Pork Fest.
I agree. It's annoying me, and they're accusing me just because I made a signal chat.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's like I say a million times over and over, it's like, if you don't want to call it Fork Fest, don't call it that then.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And still, it's like, no, because you don't want to bridge your chat to the crap Matrix chat that's existed for 9 years and say you want to do that. Do it. Don't join the Signal one. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Fork Fest was basically like, hey, we're going to be at the campground from this date to this date. If you want to join us, that's when we'll be there. Now, well, we have to plan ahead, and we got to get people organized, and we got to make sure, the vendors know. It's like, no, the whole point of it was, you just set the date, and whoever shows up, shows up.
Yeah, I'm more like...
That was the disorganization of Pork Fest.
I'm more like just telling people what I'm going to be doing and telling them, when we should be there. And then...
Yeah.
I volunteered to call the campground to make sure everything's okay with us and they're being awesome. And other people weren't down to do that. So, I just decided to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not acting like I'm in charge.
The official Fork Fest is on Signal.
Not
on Matrix. Not on Telegram.
Don't say that. They're going to put that on me.
That's fine.
They're going to think I'm saying, the official one is mine.
That's fine. I can say it. What are they going to do to me?
And at first I was like, maybe I should make some other people admins. But then I was like, actually, no one agrees exactly with what I want to do with that. So if they want to make another one, they can just make their own Signal chat, because that's what Fork Fest is all about. It's about forking from Pork Fest and doing whatever you want.
It's a double Fork Fest.
Why?
Because now Bonnie's got her own Fork Fest
Oh my God.
on Signal. not
That's not even
not the
the
official
case.
chain.
It's not a different fest. It's just a different chat about it.
Sure.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I think people were losing their mind.
Segregated campgrounds.
And by people, I mean like one person. So anyways, whatever. Just don't have to interact with them and it's fine. So I did want to read a little bit into this and see how they got this information.
How dumb Gen Z is.
Right. This from NewYorkPost.com says that Gen Z is now the first generation officially dubbed dumber than the last.
Reputable news source.
And luckily, this one puts me square in millennial, so I'm not dumber than them. Haha, they're dumber than me. Haha, Angelo, you're dumber than me. Just kidding. Gen Z, this will smart. That's what it says. Gen Z, this will smart. Oh, smart like hurt. I was like, that's incorrect. No. So
It's an old-timey Gen X saying.
yeah, that's pretty
That's smart.
ridiculous. Yeah. The generation born between 1997 and 2010, which, hey, that's totally contested. I've always looked it up for my little sister who was born in 2010. It's always said she's the first year of Alpha. So, these people don't know what they're talking about.
It's New York Times.
Yeah, New York Post.
Oh, okay.
And like the first people I ever looked it up said I am a Gen Z, and it was the Census Bureau. So that sounds pretty official to me. Whatever. The generation born between 1997 and 2010 is the first generation who did worse in school than the generation before them, according to a top neuroscientist. I mean, do you have to be a top neuroscientist to look at the school records, or not records, numbers
Scores.
they come out with?
Yeah, no.
And shockingly, they are proud of it. That's pretty funny.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. They should be proud of it.
Why?
It means
Why'd you say that?
they're escaping the matrix. I mean, why does it matter if they're judged in school and judged to be lesser than their fathers and mothers, right? I mean, that just means they're breaking out. That's a great sign, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, if they said their IQ scores were actually lower, then that's a problem, right?
They might be.
I
They
mean,
still might be.
But I'm not. That's not what the
Yeah.
article is saying. They're
Right.
just saying they're doing worse in school. That just means, hey, maybe they're less obedient. Maybe they're more into themselves and, not into the matrix.
I don't think they can blame COVID really, because if you were 10 when COVID started, I mean, like, you weren't the 6 and under to where it would really affect your IQ to have to wear a mask and stuff. I don't think. You see what I mean? And that's the
Yeah.
youngest among them, you know? If you're born in 1996, you were in your 20s, or 1997, you were in your 20s.
But just for clarity, it goes from 96 to 2010,
yeah.
and COVID was like 2019.
No, it was 2020.
2020.
Yeah, it started 2020.
Well, it's called COVID-19 because the first ones were like December 19th.
Yeah, but by
But
that,
it
I
didn't
mean...
hit the United States
Okay.
until 2020,
like
right?
the restrictions that I think would hit matter for your IQ, like having to social distance and stay home and stuff like that.
All right.
Either way, like 10, 11, 9, you're not in that 6 and younger like sweet spot where they say that they can program you and stuff.
I'm also with Bear on, that they're breaking free.
Yeah.
Because they're also like breaking free from the workforce.
Right.
Like
That's what school's for.
well, yeah, and that's why they're, a lot of them, or at least what the news will report, like Gen Z doesn't know how to like assimilate into the workforce, and they're
That's great.
anti-job and anti-corporate and anti-9 to 5, and they don't want to work.
It's
I'm like,
about
good.
time.
It's about time.
It's
Yeah,
about
good
time.
on them.
Yeah.
I feel like there are definitely people that could take it too far and just be like, well, I got this job and they should just pay me anyway. And it's like, no, but I do understand being like, hey, this is what my job description says, and no, I'm not going to go above and beyond that constantly for no extra
Right.
points or extra money. Yeah. See,
And
I
they
understand that.
and they recognize that they're not going to break their back for not a living wage, right? Like the
agree.
dollar's constantly being devalued. Somehow they're able to recognize that more so than the older generation who's cheering it on.
Yeah, because
Where
it's
like,
not affecting them.
I work 40 hours a week and I can barely pay my bills. Like, I'm not going to work hard and work harder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a systemic issue. Fix the systemic issue.
And did you see how Trump recently said, I could get the exact quote here in a bit or something, but Trump recently said, we're going to make sure house prices stay high. We're not
Yeah.
going to let the lazy younger generation steal from the hardworking boomers. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not only economically
Yeah.
illiterate, but also just like rude.
Yeah. And what is
crazy?
their response going to be? Well, fine. We're not going to work.
Yeah, we're
if
never gonna have a house.
If we can't work like a normal work day and afford like what the boomers could afford off of a normal work day. We just ain't doing it. We're opting out of the system. We're doing something else.
Or at least Gen X is like, it doesn't have to be boomer because they had a crazy weird advantage. It could be, it's like just at least what Gen X could do with their job would be fair enough, you know? But anyways.
Yeah, but that was the last generation where it was moderately fair. Right? Like again, as the cusp generation, it has been difficult since then. At least for me individually. Like some people break through, but on average, right, it's been a challenge.
If you weren't already well off by 2008, I don't care what generation you were affected, you know.
Yeah. And I wasn't in college in 2008, but I was in college, like I graduated in 2003 and then got my master's in 2005. And I remember like I had a professor in 2003, like senior year, and he was like, if you can stay in school, stay in school.
Why is that?
Because the economy is like turning into a trash fire, right? And you don't want to exit college right now because there's nothing for you right now.
Whoa.
So if you can like stay in school as long as possible and wait for this thing to turn around, you might be better off coming out the other end with the higher degree, which is one of the reasons why I stayed. Like I took his advice.
Was he an economics professor?
I was a business professor. I don't remember. I forget the exact course he taught, but it was in the business school. And he was like, "There's nothing for you coming out of college right now. Like everything's took a dump, and it's going to be difficult for you to get anywhere off your feet. So, invest more in your education now, and hopefully, by the time you get out, things will have turned around." And then you get out in 2005, and then the 2008 crash happens. It's like, well, here we go again.
I've also heard of older people just kind of getting unlucky in timing and being right out of high school or college. I mean, during the .com bubble, and that messing them up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the earlier 2000s.
Yeah.
Right, which is right before he gave us this advice. Like it was right after that crash. Like. If you graduated college in like 98, 99, like right when that tech bubble started to rise, right, you could get into a 6-figure job right out of college if you were in tech, right? And if you got lucky with a good company, the stock options that they would offer you turned you into a millionaire by the time you were like, 24, right? And then it popped, and then the businesses, the companies went, well, hiring people straight out of college, that was a mistake. We're not doing that again. Right. And then here we come in 2002, 2003, 2004, right out of college, looking for that high paying business job. And they go like, nope, we learned our lesson from that. You need 5 years experience now. Go do something else. I'm like, oh, well, what do you want me to do?
Yep. I can, and the thing is, those people are all boomers. Like, they're not going to be able to understand why it was that they're probably just thinking, these people straight out of college are idiots nowadays. Young people nowadays, who knows? Well,
and to be fair, they've dumbed down college as well, and they've inflated the grade system.
And now now ChatGPT exists to just get your answers off of there.
Which is fine. Which was like that was one of the most important lessons I got from college, and it was a marketing research class, and the professor said for the test taking, all the formulas and information you need is on the board. If you think you need a formula or piece of information that I did not put on the board, just ask me for it, and I will put it on the board.
See, that is totally fine and good and dandy and everything.
But he recognized, right, that it wasn't about memorizing the information. It was about your ability to know what information to apply
but that's the thing,
in a given situation.
Oh my God, I keep calling ChatGPT Gen Z, but I still think ChatGPT could get in the way of even that. Like, I don't even need to know when to use these formulas. I just ask ChatGPT. You see what I mean?
Which is fine.
I don't think that's fine.
No, it's fine.
I think that is not fine.
Okay.
It would be fine for high school, because it doesn't matter. Get the diploma and just read books on the side or something. You'll be plenty smart. Pay attention to things that seem important, But
we have infinite access to the world of information.
You don't want your doctor to genuinely not know what they're talking about and just have only done ChatGPT. I do not, at least. Sure, some jobs maybe don't matter, but then it's why even college anyway if it doesn't even matter enough to
Look, most
learn.
people now today, you plug your symptoms into Google or you plug your symptoms into WebMD.
Not your surgery.
But it gets you close. Surgeon. But it gets you close to what the problem is.
Even then, it's Yes, I did. When I had the ovarian problem, I won't maybe that grosses some people out. Last year when I was sick and it ended up being my ovary, it was a mystery to the doctors for 2 months, and ChatGPT figured out what it may be before then, but it didn't really matter because the human beings need to know what it is for me to get any help with it. You know what I mean?
Sure, but if you're saying ChatGPT figured it out before the doctors, then the doctor should be using ChatGPT.
But then it's yes, they maybe to just get get you what's the word
Get you close, yeah.
But then after that, ChatGPT doesn't know what can fix it, and not only doesn't know, but you need to be able to do these things. You need to learn how to do these things.
ChatGPT will tell you what surgery is needed, and you'll need a competent doctor who knows how to perform the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this we had this conversation with Alu a few weeks ago or a month or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
About what happened next, and with artificial intelligence and AR glasses and VR glasses, etc. Right, you could be walking into a technological future where they just get walked through the process, right, through the glasses. Here, the glasses have identified, where the incision needs to be made,
I think
what you're looking for inside.
I bet we can do this with AI. I bet we can do that with AI. I bet it's going to take over the world when it's it has been stumped and stuck at this very stupid place for a long time where it's you couldn't even trust ChatGPT, whatever, AI to currently run the red lights. It would just sometimes be well, it makes sense for this car to go, and then there'd be accidents. It just makes huge mistakes. No one right now is going to actually trust it to walk doctors surgeons through
But
surgery.
that's like a general AI.
And it hasn't gotten better. It's whoa, this is crazy up until 2023, and that's just never gotten better. You know what I mean? I don't think it's ever going to actually be magic.
They're going to write a program that's specific for surgical procedures, and it's going to give you the information. Just as you would
surgery or a specific.
But it will be. That's what I'm saying.
It's about the fact that it's literally just Reddit crawling, and it's not as smart as people think. It's not actually learning anything.
It doesn't have to.
It does for things like that.
Because you're going
disagree.
When they're training surgeons to do surgery, right? They're going to have a book on surgery. They're going to flip to the book. They're going to read the information, right? They're going to practice on a cadaver or whatever. If you feed that information to whatever future technology exists, it's going to know the diagrams that are in the manual. Right, it's going to have all that stuff laid out. It's going to tell you what vein to cut, what artery to look at, what muscle to cut, what tendon you need to reattach
and then what
to
if
where.
This person just looks different on the inside because they're, and then the ChatGPT, it doesn't look like the book. That's where we're at right now.
You would know that
You're
because
just assuming
you would know
better.
that because they took an X-ray, they did an MRI, they did a bone scan, right?
They didn't do that necessarily.
So all right. I kind of don't agree with you there, okay? Because when you do surgery, and I've done surgery before, all right, the process is extremely intricate. You can't just get a machine to do it for you.
I'm not saying the machine's going to do it for you. Yeah, I'm saying the machine's going to be there, alongside.
It's no help, okay? ChatGPT is an information conversion device. What we need is a robot, and I agree with you that robots can achieve human levels of dexterity. But first of all, that takes time. And secondly, that takes the surgeon to know how to apply it. It's just a better version of a scalpel.
Yes.
Right? So you have to put this machine onto this problem, identify what the vessels are, what the nerves are, what the anatomy is, or at least allow it to confirm with you that they're looking at the same thing.
Yes.
Okay, and then maybe it'll do the surgery for you. And for example, the Army has been working on this for many, many years, and they've had some success where they're able to do remote surgeries. But at the end of the day, it does take a human being, a person, to know what they're doing is right or wrong. Because a machine can do a technically perfect job, but it may be done on an anatomically irrelevant location, in which case it's a failed surgery.
I don't think you're disagreeing with me.
Oh, okay. But the other thing maybe I'm not fully disagreeing with you, but the other thing I would agree with Bonnie is that what we know is ChatGPT and other AI machines, they're mathematically based. They can give you the right answers, but it takes you, the human, to determine if that answer suits your needs. You look at the picture that ChatGPT creates, and your consciousness comes up with whether or not it's a beautiful picture or if it's an ugly picture. Only a human being with consciousness can derive the math that produces ChatGPT. And so being the creator of ChatGPT, from consciousness to mathematics and then back to a confirming consciousness and a feeling of what is created, do we actually have this closed loop system, which is helpful. If you let it run without that closed loop system, you're gonna end up with absurdities, right? Just like
I think you might be getting hung up on like ChatGPT. And what
I'm not saying ChatGPT. Okay. I'm saying AI. Okay, AI.
Yeah, I keep calling AI ChatGPT.
But if you have if you have a medical AI, that the only information you feed it is like medical information.
By the way, we have that. I use it almost every day.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
What do you use it for example?
For example, if I have a patient, I type in the patient, say 28-year-old female comes in with left-sided lower abdominal pain. Give me the differential diagnosis, right? So off the top of my head, I could think of maybe like 4 things, or maybe 5, maybe 6. A good doctor might be able to name 10 if they're really thinking hard. But in an instant, ChatGPT can give you like 25 things.
That's what Bonnie doesn't want, though.
I didn't say that. I said I don't think that it can actually replace like everything.
Yeah, so even though it produces all those things, and even though there's a probability for each of them being correct, at the end of the day, it's what the patient, all their symptoms put together, all the intersection of, like a Venn diagram, it finally isolates onto one point that intersects, that accounts for every symptom that the patient presents, okay?
Right.
And that's something that even now ChatGPT or AI has a difficulty in doing. It's applying their knowledge and the information properly. It's the application. It's the meaning of the answer, which eludes it because again, consciousness, what's right and wrong, and what we feel good as a thing to do, is the thing that gives rise to ChatGPT.
Sure.
And it doesn't go the other way around, okay? You can make machines that does technically a perfect job, but that machine still requires human control in order to do the job that you want it to do.
I don't think I said to eliminate the human aspect at all, but I think there's an underlying assumption possibly where there's a suggestion that the technology is not going to improve. And that seems like an absurd thing to think, right?
I still think that. I kind of think that it's not going to improve at least a whole lot more, because people think, whoa, this is crazy, because the step of getting any large language models was crazy to us, and then it rapidly got a lot better at what it does, but it's not going to suddenly become anything different. It's like as best as it, maybe it can get a little better at what it does right now, but what it does is just crawl the internet and come up with what people say about
I don't think Bear's medical AI is crawling the internet and giving medical advice on Reddit.
It researches all the data and all the current literature, okay?
And not necessarily the internet. Like, it crawls whatever you give it.
Medical data.
What I think
from reputable medical sources.
And it's not going to become magically something other than that. That's all it can do.
So
you know what's crazy?
That's all a human can do, but it can do it better and faster.
Let me explain one thing too. ChatGPT got it faster, but not right away. And want to know why? Because this thing is what would take a human being to figure out that I needed the CAT scan. My ovary, I don't know why, magically made it to the, like, in between my bladder and my uterus. It doesn't embarrass me. I know it grosses out some people and sometimes freaks out men specifically, like
women
I'm talking
parts,
about.
Who needs
exactly.
It?
So, like, if it was on the left, I think it would have been figured out perfectly fine and quicker. So, that, of course, that's going to throw off not just humans, but also it threw off the ChatGPT too. It's just that we have purposely made our doctors the worst of the worst, and it's, unless I went to like a specialist right away, like a lot of our doctors have become the worst of the worst because they get burnt out. Like anybody who didn't want to take the vaccine, stuff like that was forced out. Nurses forced out, and honestly, I didn't see a doctor once until my surgery. I was being sent to, what are they called, nurse practitioners over and over again because they are too busy, literally. So I don't really think that my exact story is like, you can put it one-to-one, because like that weird thing that I don't even know, like my ovary crawled over to the middle.
Okay.
It was something that they're like, nope, this can't be that. Your
Right.
ovary is supposed to be on the left
So,
or the right.
so either the AI or the doctor is going to say, like, you need to run this test.
Hold on. Let me just say this. I think what Bonnie is saying is that it doesn't get better because the information we feed it isn't expanding faster than AI can read it. So all you're doing is you're reading from this vast pool of information that already exists.
What do you mean?
For the AI to quote unquote get better, that information base needs to expand. And that's the limiting factor here.
They publish a new medical textbook for med school.
Yeah.
You're telling me that they're going to feed that to the AI, the large language model, and it's not going to accept it faster than a human's going to read through and understand.
No,
the whole
that's
textbook?
not what I'm saying. I'm
not
saying
It's
saying
faster
either.
and it's better.
That's not
no,
what I'm
it's
saying
not. No,
either.
okay, it's faster, but is it better?
It's going to get all the information.
Wait, that's only assuming that the medical book is correct in the first place.
Yeah.
I also
you
think
did
we're
the
all
research.
arguing as if Richard
Well,
is just saying
right?
get rid of humans, and since you're not, I don't think we disagree that much.
If you're
but
challenging the medical book, you're also challenging the human author of it.
That's exactly right, and that's
You
where
should-
that's where the limiting factor is.
Okay.
It's not the AI; it's the information we feed the AI.
Sure,
And at
so
the
if
end of the day, somebody still has to do research as to what the problem is.
If the limiting factor is human beings, I still think that's not a good case for not AI.
I'm not saying
we're
no
not-
AI. I'm
we-
saying don't use AI your entire.
Look,
You're
AI
not going to be a good doctor. You're not going to be the kind of doctor that would have absolutely figured out what was wrong with me without AI. If you use
Not right
AI
now, but in the future,
the-
after they've published your information and data and what happened to you,
How could the doctors get better if they're relying on ChatGPT? That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
because you're a new case that gets added to the database.
No, but it's not just that. It's that they wouldn't have learned that in school because they only relied on ChatGPT instead of learning it. So, like, when I came into their office, they wouldn't have been like, I know. Like,
it's
they
not,
wouldn't get better.
It's not only doctors; it's the system. The system does not allow you to do.
More Free Talk Live coming up.
Yeah.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country.
Yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann with the Week in Review. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer vowed this week to fight on in his job despite speculation of a leadership challenge. It comes after criticism over his appointment of Peter Mandelson as ambassador to the United States despite his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Stuart Smith has more from London.
Keir Starmer has apologised to the public on Thursday, saying he was sorry for having believed Mandelson's lies and for appointing him as London's ambassador to Washington. Peter Mandelson was a heavyweight in the Labour Party for decades and a well-known friend of Jeffrey Epstein. Despite that, Keir Starmer's government invited him to become US ambassador last year, but documents released by the US government in the Epstein files include his name 6,000 times, showing the extent of that relationship, leading to questions about the judgment of Keir Starmer and his aides in appointing Mandelson to the role.
A suicide bomber attacked a mosque in Islamabad during Friday prayers, killing at least 31 people and injuring more than 160 others. It is the deadliest attack in the Pakistan capital in more than a decade. Hira Mustafa has more from Islamabad.
Residents of the locality have described scenes of panic and chaos in the aftermath of the blast as locals try to take those injured to nearby hospitals. Forensic teams are on site collecting evidence to aid the investigation. Police, rangers and army personnel have also been deployed and the area has been cordoned off. Hospitals across the capital remain on high alert and officials have said they fear the death toll could rise further. The Prime Minister and Foreign Minister have condemned the attack. Pakistan's President Asif Ali Zardari has said targeting innocent civilians is a crime against humanity.
Nuclear talks between the US and Iran ended on Friday with little evidence either side has budged on its demands. Neither side spoke face-to-face. The talks instead were mediated by Oman, with a US delegation led by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. The negotiations come amid a US military build-up in the region and fears of a regional conflict. Tony Waterman has more from Washington.
Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, called the talks a good start, but said deep distrust is a serious challenge to the negotiations. He said Friday's talks were limited to Iran's nuclear program, short of U.S. demands to also discuss Tehran's missile program, the backing of regional militias, and the killing of protesters. This is the first time the two sides have talked since the U.S. strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities last June.
Russia and Ukraine have exchanged over 300 prisoners amid peace talks in Abu Dhabi. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says the talks were not easy, but said Ukraine has been and will remain as constructive as possible. Meanwhile, Moscow says Zelensky does not seek peace. Dasha Chernyshova has more from Moscow.
Russian Defense Ministry says it returned 157 servicemen from Ukrainian captivity, as well as 3 residents of the Kursk region that were captured during the Ukrainian incursion in 2024. The Kremlin says it is still too early to talk about the results of the trilateral talks, but the Russian delegation is promptly reporting information to the Russian president. These talks included security officials from Russia and Ukraine. Separately, Russia's economic envoy Kirill Dmitriev, who was also in Abu Dhabi holding talks on the economic track and US-Russia cooperation, said that there was good positive movement forward.
And finally this week, the White House has signaled it's open to negotiating with Democrats over immigration enforcement reforms to end a funding fight. Lawmakers are facing a Friday the 13th deadline to secure funding for the Department of Homeland Security following controversial killings in Minneapolis by the department's employees. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
A change of tune from the White House. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt saying the administration is willing to discuss some of the reform options the Democrats have put forward. They have laid out a 10-point proposal, all aimed at reining in ICE agents' activities on US streets. The Democrat demands include ICE agents not wearing masks or face coverings, always carrying ID, and needing a judicial warrant to enter a private property. The Republicans had initially flatly refused those demands, but now, while the White House says some of the suggestions are non-starters, it seems that the president may be willing to negotiate. At stake is trying to pass a full year's funding for the Department of Homeland Security. If that doesn't happen before next Friday, funding runs out for the department.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
In a survey, nearly 100% of boys ages 12 to 15 report that they have sex all the time and are definitely not virgins. Teens say they've gone all the way on numerous occasions, including vaginal sex, oral sex, and regular sex orgies.
Previous studies suggested that most boys lose their virginity at 16 or 17. But when we gathered 13-year-olds in a room and asked them if they'd had sex, they not only said yes, but they also were clear that sex was no big deal for them, that they weren't nervous before having it, and that when they do have sex, they do it for hours at a time.
And you discovered that these young teenagers have sex with nearly every attractive woman they know, including their babysitters, teachers, and even Hollywood celebrities.
10% of boys in junior high school say they received a blowjob from Katy Perry while they were on vacation in Los Angeles.
And what about teenage girls? Did your study find out anything new about their sexual habits?
We didn't talk to any teenage girls. The boys we surveyed told us not to because they'd probably just lie and deny it.
This is the Onion News Network.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. And I'd like to thank Eric for being an amplifier with us here at Free Talk Live. That means that Eric went to amps.freetalklive.com and signed up to support the show. AMPS stands for Advertise, Market, Promote, and Support. Thanks to Eric and everyone who supports us. And again, that's amps.freetalklive.com if you'd like to check out the perks and benefits of becoming an amplifier. Thanks again to Eric and everyone who supports us here at Free Talk Live. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Bear Arms.
And Richie Rich.
And we do have a caller in the line, so I'm going to go to the phones. We've been talking
Better
about...
not have summoned him, Bear.
Nope.
Better not have summoned him. Okay.
Nope, it's a
All right.
woman. It's Sarah from New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yes, I was going to say that that company that was networking, they actually have a new 5% free products for the nonprofit organization. And most of the churches I talk to, they look at me like, "What a scam!" That's the first response, and it's very hard. Anything to do with free, and it's so hard for me to explain this. I have to show a diagram. But
so is it free because it's free for people that sign up or something like that?
Or a discount for nonprofits.
Yeah, it's so you have to be authentic. You have to be a real nonprofit with a 501c3 form. You have to have that.
Okay.
To qualify.
But then
what about a 9-0 form?
I think they only qualify 501z, 501(c)(3).
Okay, not a 9-0 form.
But either way,
okay.
What is that even supposed to mean? Because churches are allowed to just spend money on herbal supplements? I would be shocked that's fine.
Only unleavened bread and wine for churches.
Is that fine?
No,
I mean, would they get in trouble if somebody's looking at their taxes and they're like, "What do you mean you bought herbal supplements for the pastors?" Or who would they give it away for free? What does this even mean?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly. I'm sure all the cleaners need cleaning supplies, so I don't know exactly what they qualify to buy for the church. You're right, because you know what? You're a church. You're not a medical place. You cannot give out vitamins. You know what I'm talking about? You're not.
They just do
not
faith
qualified
healing.
for that. So I don't know the particular details. Maybe your congregation needs pain creams, but see, it's very okay. The whole gimmick is that you have to have people put under the church to get that 5% coming up. Just because you sign up doesn't automatically, as a church, get 5% free product. You have to have people on their
So it is a
account,
scam.
organization. But that now you're thinking it as a scam. See, this is like people. It's so hard for me to understand, like people to get. Is that so the church? Okay, so the church gets enrolled.
Because promotion is misleading.
Well, wait, no, okay. You have to understand this whole thing. You have to have customers enroll under the church that are paying customers, and they have 5% point. It's not dollar; it's the points that comes with it. It is very complicated. I had to hear it like 15 times for it to finally kind of like figure out what is going on here. And so, but the thing is,
You should ask ChatGPT to simplify it for you.
well, it once you understand it, it's quite simple. So the whole gimmick, I think, the whole marketing thing behind it is, most people are very committed to their church. They're very dedicated. They love their church. And if anything, if you buy the laundry soap, whatever, and some of it goes to help the church, you'll do it. Why would I buy from Costco's or Sam's Club or Walmart when, nothing does for the church I love, that I'm dedicated to? And most of the people are very dedicated to their nonprofit, whatever their nonprofit is. So they want even a $2 every month to go towards their free products. So
I think this is a good time to bring up Richie Rich's BCEs of MLM.
What's BCEs?
So the Richie Rich's BCEs of MLM is my biggest problem with MLM, and everyone who's like tried to enroll me into an MLM is, can I find your product better, cheaper elsewhere?
Yeah, like she mentioned pain cream, and it was kind of odd timing because I was like stretching my neck, and I was like, yeah, I could use some Tiger Balm right now, which is
Right.
cheap and awesome.
Right. So if your MLM product, like if I can find that product better, cheaper elsewhere, I'm just going to get it elsewhere. And then the savings that I would then have of not paying your MLM price and paying this lower Walmart price gives me more disposable income to donate to a charity of my choice, including my church if I had one.
Or if you are a church, just like more money to give to the poor.
Sure.
Like instead of
Yeah.
all this stuff and this roundabout saving, quote unquote, money.
Yeah. If you're 10% more expensive than Walmart and only giving me a 5% discount, I'm losing 5%.
But here's the thing: it's a matter of like the reality is all in your mind. I really
it's in my wallet too.
I believe that our products are higher quality than a Tiger Balm that you would get. As far as I'm concerned, you get a way better quality for the dollar, and at the same time, you can help your beloved church. That
Do
you're a
you
member
stand behind that claim with the 100% money back guarantee if I'm not satisfied?
of. Right. Because you know what?
Is that a yes?
90-day guarantee. If you don't want it, they'll get your money back. And to them, it's a write-off. It's a tax write-off. It's a business loss, right?
Do you happen to know what the do you know what the active ingredient is in your pain cream? I know with Tiger Balm, it's definitely menthol, but I think it's menthol and clove.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
I don't know either, but Tiger Balm is the best. I'm with you on that one, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same core ingredient, but we have higher quality ingredients.
Every MLM says that, but no documentation follows.
Camphor, that's what it is. Camphor, menthol, and clove oil is in it. Yeah, but that might not be like the active ingredient. I don't know.
American-made camphor with that Tiger Balm stuff's from China. China.
Yeah.
China.
So,
Maybe.
So that's the benefits of it. But one thing about MLM, if you do wind up enrolling other people, you could get points and commissions coming up that you would never have with the Walmart. You don't have any business opportunity at all. No matter you could tell 1,000 people how great Tiger Balm is, and what are you gonna if they buy it? What are you gonna get out of it?
I got you. And so my dad joined an MLM, and he came to me because I have the business degree, and he said, "I need your business advice. I'm joining an MLM." I said, well, that was dumb, but here's the advice anyway. Don't sell the product. sell the opportunity to sell the product, right?
What kind of MLM did he join? Amway?
Whichever the one was David Beck, Herbalife.
Herbalife.
So anyway, my advice to him was don't sell the product, sell the opportunity to sell the product. Because the only way to make money and rise up the MLM ladder is to enroll more people, not necessarily move product. So it's a weird system to begin with, and
Which
that's
is
what
just
I told
immoral,
him.
in my opinion. It's
Which
like
is
some
fine.
people can disagree, but yeah, you're 100% right to give your dad that advice as far as to make the most money. But
Right.
it's just like, but then once that's stated out loud, in my opinion, that's immoral.
Fine.
So like, and that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I just think that people have to kind of admit that.
Which I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not, like,
and he
saying
didn't
that
and he
against
didn't take
you.
my advice and dropped out a few years later because like I went to the same meeting I went to like 2-3 years ago, and my up sponsor was in the same position she was 3 years ago. Like, she hasn't advanced.
Like I got lied to join an MLM. The one I joined was It Works.
Okay.
And the thing was, she told me that it is her. She told me that I could help work for her company with her. It's like the more like we're getting into this, it was starting to like ring some bells. But I had never heard why MLMs are so bad, and they didn't call it like a pyramid scheme, obviously.
Yeah.
And she didn't make it very clear to me when she was giving me the pitch that like the only way to make money was to add other people. It's like once you get in, then they put you in a team, and they'll like do calls with you, and they'll be like, the thing you need to do is recruit, and you're like, what? I thought I was going to be selling the product. Like,
Nope.
And also it's just like,
And you can sell the
crazy of me to
product, you
think
just
that.
won't be that successful.
Yeah,
And that's
you won't
again,
make that
that's a
much money.
conversation I have with my dad. He's like, no, I've got like 5 or 6 regular customers. They get their monthly order. I get my small little commission. I'm like, you've totally failed at this.
Yeah, and the
You
thing
didn't
is,
even
you also
you
have
didn't
to
take my advice. You went completely the opposite direction, and
I
now
don't know
you're
about
out.
your dad. Your dad maybe didn't have to do this, but in It Works, at least you had to buy a certain amount every month. So it's like even if you're just selling, most likely you're either breaking even, which is stupid.
Nope, he had his backlog of supplies that because he wasn't taking it as quickly as he was, having to purchase it.
Yep. Either way, like I know in a lot of them you have it's called like a not PPE, it's like PLM or something like that. It's like monthly, it's a MP or something, monthly amount, whatever it is. I can't remember off the top of my head.
MPA, monthly purchase amount.
Yeah, let's call
Whatever,
it
yeah.
that. I don't know, but we have another caller on the line, so let's go to Jerome. And is it? I can never remember. I'm sorry. Is it North Carolina?
It's south of North Carolina, which would be South Carolina.
Okay, South
Trump
Carolina.
train, choo choo. I haven't been able to do that probably a couple years now, Jerome. I missed you, buddy.
I'll write that down.
I know what kind of product you selling. You selling the same kind of product old Epstein was selling, huh? Huh?
What?
Is that what you selling?
Are you talking to me or Bonnie?
I'm talking to you. You know who I'm talking to.
What am I selling? MP?
You probably sell. Yeah, you probably sell the same kind of product Trump was buying from Epstein.
Oh.
The guy he doesn't remember anymore.
Only to Turd Ferguson.
Hey, I said his fake girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, she's supposed to testify, but she's going to plead the fifth. Oh, what a surprise.
What do you think about Bill and Hillary wanting to testify in open court with all the cameras rolling where they're going to lay it out on the line?
They said that?
Yeah.
Whoa,
They
I
don't
want that
want
to
that.
happen.
What's that, Jerome?
The Republican murderers don't want that. Okay?
Probably.
They do
You're
not
probably
want
right.
that.
So you think it's a play by the Clintons to not have to testify at all?
Well, look, let me tell you like this. If they testify, and I hope they do in open court, when are we going to bring Trump in to testify? Oh, that'll be a hootenanny.
It'll have to be after his term of president
Why?
because they're not going to have the political balls to call in the president of the United States into open court to testify on child trafficking.
Because they're sellouts. That's why.
Fine.
They're sellouts.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But the truth still remains they're not going to do it.
Hey, did you see him when they were showing video of him and Epstein? Did you see him pointing at them young girls and drooling over him like they were a piece of candy? Did you see that? That's the guy. I don't know anything about Epstein.
Was that
Or
Trump?
these
He's
young
in a
girls.
video?
Yeah.
They show it all the time.
I'll be honest, I haven't looked at much of the Epstein files aside from the small articles that have posted a little bit of it, and I personally find it too difficult to read through all the redactions. So I'm just not interested. But I believe you.
There's a cover up.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Redactions.
I saw
That's
the thing
another
where
word for cover up.
I saw. Never mind. It's like I've heard people talk about that Trump is in this one and everything, but I didn't specifically see one that's a video of Trump drooling over women. Like, so I'm trying to look it up. All
They showed one where they redacted the word "don't," which made no sense, and the internet conspiracy was that they were redacting, the AI was programmed to redact the word "Don," right, for Donald, right, and it got confused on that one and redacted the whole word "don't." And so that they're redacting the word Don now.
Is this video you're talking about, Jerome, where it looks like Donald Trump is pretty young looking and he's like whispering in Epstein's ear and making Epstein laugh? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because he's probably telling, hey, which one you think, how many of them you think I can have tonight? Huh?
Dang.
How many can you afford?
By the way, let me ask you a question. Hey, who is Trump having sex with? That's what I want to know.
Currently?
Just Melania.
His old lady. Huh? Who?
Melania. Maybe.
Bubba.
Yeah, right.
When he goes to prison.
He's not, they don't even sleep together. They haven't slept together. They probably haven't slept together since Barron was born. Man, come on. Who's he? For somebody like to grab women by the vajayjay, and now he's like celibate. Who believes that?
There were rumors that he was sleeping with Laura Loomer at one point.
Even here's the thing: back when he said like grab them by, he wasn't the president that everybody hates. Yeah, sure, he wasn't the president that we all know and hate. He was like a powerful rich guy and powerful people.
They still voted for him.
I don't think he was wrong either.
Yeah, I don't.
They let you get
I don't know what you mean by that. Like it sounded like his personal experience, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying it was classy to say that. It's just that.
You wouldn't say that in front of the women, but in the locker room after the fact or before the fact. It's been my experience that when you're powerful like me, they let you grab them by the vajayjay, right?
God, I don't know if we can say
Seems
this.
accurate.
I don't know. Maybe.
Hey, his two most embarrassing moments, other than the latest one where he referred to the Obamas as apes.
Yep.
Was when he said that he was like caught the woman in the department store. Okay, I don't know that woman. She ain't even my type. So how did you end up getting in there with her if she's not your type?
I don't know about that one, honestly.
Yeah.
Who's having sex with Donald Trump? I want somebody to answer me.
Allegedly, Laura Loomer. I already answered you.
No.
There were rumors during the campaign that he was like having some funny business with Laura Loomer.
Wow.
And that's the last I knew of it.
Blonde bimbo, I think that blonde bimbo, Kelly McEnany, she's a very probable candidate. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know what.
Oh, no. I don't think so. She's like married with a kid.
I'm going to look her up. Kelly McEnany?
Kayleigh McEnany, man. She was like the best press secretary ever. Bring her back.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Hey,
she was on, like, as far as profession in her job, like, she was on point. She was never flustered by any of the reporters. Always had an answer. Always had a rebuttal.
From
from the first Trump presidency.
She's a sellout.
Fine. Fine.
They probably all
That's
are.
not a rebuttal.
They just have to be defensive of their president.
She was
or
just
whatever
very,
for their
very
job.
good at her job, and you could never fluster her or get her to contradict.
And she actually is
They're
pretty,
all
and she doesn't
sellouts.
look 30 years older than she actually is, like the one we have now. Nothing.
She's married to a guy 30 years older than her. She's a sellout.
That one, the one.
What does that have to do with anything?
People who shot someone in the back, shoot the man in the back. Oh, he was a terrorist. Or when they shot that lady in the van, oh, she was a terrorist, man. How is it like the guy that tried to kill Trump gets life in prison, but people who do stuff like that, you can't do anything to them?
Because of what's it called? The cops have
Qualified immunity.
Qualified immunity. Thank you. That's why that answers your question. And it's bad.
That is such bull crap.
I agree.
That's qualified bull crap.
You're great.
I mean,
term for
you
it.
don't have to like the answers we're giving you, Jerome, but those are the answers.
I know. Y'all just give me a chance to vent off some steam.
All right.
That's all.
Good. I'm glad.
Go on.
Anything else for us, Jerome?
No, I can't wait to see Trump. They're trying to coerce Trump into apologizing to the Obamas. As a Democrat, we don't want no effing apology, okay? You are what you are.
Okay.
And nothing's going to change that.
I'll also go on record and I'll say that one was a little bit blown out of proportion if you watch the whole video.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Watch the whole video.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It doesn't make him not racist, but this is this is not a good example of him being racist.
Those were Jewish people who he kisses ass all the time. That he said something like nasty about that, like that. They would crush his gray-haired ass in office. Okay,
that's a good point. If they made a Jew, if Trump posted a video that depicted Jews as wringing their hands over some money and stuff like that, yeah, they would freak out. I think Trump's right.
Watch the whole video first, because
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of people that Trump doesn't like, depicted as a bunch of different animals. Right? There's no implication that who he's depicting is like a flamingo or a bear or whatever.
Yeah.
And the highlight of the video is set to the Lion King, and Trump comes out with his face plastered on a lion, right? As he's the ruler of the jungle, and all these other creatures are subordinate to him. Yeah, right. It had nothing to do with race.
Listen to this description from ABC News that says, at the end of the video, the Obama's faces appear abruptly on the bodies of apes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone's face appears abruptly. Everyone's on screen for 1 or 2 seconds with their head superimposed on any number of forest animals.
Are you a black person?
Am I a black person? Obviously not, Jerome.
Yeah. Well, then how the hell would you know whether it was intentional or not?
Because I looked at the rest of the video.
I think neither of us know if it's intentional or not that Trump did it. It's possible he did,
It was up for 12 hours on his website. 12 hours.
But the point of the video is not look at the Obamas, they're monkeys. It's look at all these other subordinate creatures from the Democrats bowing down to Lion King Trump.
No. If he had said, if he had made fun of Jewish people, said, well, the Holocaust was fake, they would tear his ass apart. Okay?
That's 100% true.
Right.
It's about black people, so they cut him slack. That's what it's all about.
And I'm cutting him slack because he depicted a lot of people on a lot of different creatures.
But was anybody else apes?
I don't remember.
Was anybody else in the video black, if you remember?
Yeah.
Watch the video. I don't remember because it was a whole bunch. It was a whole bunch of Democrats.
They're not making it easy to find it, so.
Oh no, it's out there.
During the break or
okay,
something.
yeah, during the break.
I don't recall. Do that again. I don't remember. I don't recall.
Because I don't. Again, there was a lot of Democrats. I don't know all their names. I don't remember all the animals their faces were plastered on. It's like a 2-minute video with 3-second cuts. So it happened a lot, right? The Obamas were only on screen for 3 seconds, with their face on the apes. And the highlight was Trump being the Lion King.
Yeah.
And everyone else was subordinate to him, the ruler of the jungle.
You sound real believable.
I hope so. That's what I get paid to do here.
With Jewish people is transactional. Yeah, he uses them, and then when he doesn't need them, he throws them away. They're like yesterday's news.
That's not uncommon among any politician. The whole system is transactional.
Because he once told a room full of Jewish people, "I don't get reelected. It's your fault."
Dang.
How the hell could he say something like that?
Because they're the ones funding the campaign.
Right.
And funding all the opposition to people he hates.
Yeah, and they eat his crap too, nah. Because that's all he's full of crap.
Again, no disagreement there. I just think this is a bad example of racist Trump.
Don't worry. They're going to get what's coming to them in these midterm elections. You just wait.
That's what people are saying. People are saying that's probably going to affect the midterm election, so I guess we'll see. 603-283-6160. That's 603-283. Thanks for the call, Jerome. And you can call in and bring up whatever's on your mind. More Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's Free Talk Live. 603-283-6160. More coming up.
Negotiation isn't just something union leaders and sports agents do. Your entire day is a series of negotiations. If you have young children, you know that. In fact, your kids can teach you a lot about negotiating with grown-ups. According to the world's greatest negotiator, Herb Cohen, author of You Can Negotiate Anything. Herb says that kids understand the process of decision-making within an organization. organization. When one parent says no, they'll ask the other. And Cohen says children persist and persevere. And like smart negotiators of all ages, kids know that no is an opening bargaining position. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman. Nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran have ended with little evidence either side has budged from its demands. Neither side spoke face-to-face. The talks instead were mediated by Oman, with the U.S. delegation led by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, called the talks a good start, but said deep distrust is a serious challenge to the negotiations. He said Friday's talks were limited to Iran's nuclear program. That has not been confirmed by the U.S., but if it is true, it would fall short of Washington's demands to also discuss Tehran's missile program, the backing of regional militias, and the killing of protesters. This is the first time the two sides have talked since the U.S. strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities last June. And it comes amid a massive U.S. military buildup in the Middle East, which President Trump has threatened to use if Iran doesn't end its nuclear program. The U.S. has arrested a man suspected of helping to plan and orchestrate the 2012 attack on the U.S. mission in Benghazi, Libya. 4 Americans died, including the U.S. ambassador. FSN's Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Zubair al-Barkush has been brought to the United States to stand trial, arriving early Friday morning at Andrews Air Base, just outside of Washington, D.C. He's charged with crimes including the 4 murders, including that of U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens. It's unclear how long he's been in U.S. custody, ahead of Friday's announcement by the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. The 2012 assault on the U.S. mission created political division, with Republicans blaming the then Obama administration's response and saying there had been insufficient security at the compound.
A ransom deadline in the abduction of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie has passed as new details about what's in that letter emerge. TMZ, which is one of at least 3 media outlets that claim to have received the ransom note, says there are specific details about the placement of Nancy's Apple Watch that could prove its authenticity. FSN's Mitch McCann reports.
Her family has now posted a second video in which her son Cameron asks Nancy's kidnappers to make contact and prove that she is safe.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly.
The video comes as investigators look into reported ransom notes sent to various media outlets. Nancy is believed to have been taken from her property after arriving home late last Saturday night, and officials say her blood was found in the vicinity of the home.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com.
Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That means that you can call 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us and bring up whatever is on your mind. You can find Free Talk Live gear like t-shirts and hoodies at libertyminded.com. Free Talk Live is brought to you by libertyminded.com. You can find other funny and cool libertarian or liberty-oriented clothing at libertyminded.com. That's libertyminded.com. And with you on Free Talk Live, you've got me, Bonnie.
Bear Arms.
And Richie Rich.
And we have some callers on the line, so let's go straight to the phones and to the fun. The number is 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us. John, you're on Free Talk Live, and you wanted to talk about cameras inside of Fords?
Yeah, they're doing some surveillance. I think it's a Fourth Amendment overreach, but what they're doing is they're putting cameras inside of your car that's going to basically automatically read license plates and stuff like that and be, I forget what they call it, where they basically source that out and it'll also tell on you when you're speeding.
Oh, I do remember this. This is not new information. This was announced sometime middle of last year. Does that ring a bell?
There was that whole thing where Washington State was going to do like smart something or something that was going to tell on you for speeding, but I didn't hear about the cameras.
I vaguely recall what he's talking about. But continue. Sorry.
I've got two like angles I want to take on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number one is like we're actually having like a lot of strength in like people hearing the voice on issues that concern us, and but we really don't pass laws or anything like that. And I thought if this thing really passes and they start using us for surveillance, I think we should pass a law just like police have to wear body cameras. Let's make it so that there's a signal every time they go over the speed limit and they don't have their lights on. That's a pretty big issue for us, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's supposed to be that it's dangerous to go over the speed limit, and the cops do it all the time, and cops have even gotten in trouble for making videos saying like, hey, don't get in front of me, a cop, if you're not speeding, because I could pull you over if you're going slow.
I once got pulled over following a cop.
They pull us over because we're not speeding, or we're not adhering to their flow of traffic, which is faster than the speed limit. Mm-hmm. So if they want to go ahead and surveil our cars, I think we could actually pass a law just like the body cam. All police vehicles, and it's a little bit of an asshole thing to do, but I think it's pretty much an asshole thing to use my car to violate my Fourth Amendment rights.
I can't have you say that on the radio, so
okay.
If you just said
it's not one of the 7
you can
words.
say it, but they bleep it on TV, so I'm just being careful. Right. But just a reminder, you're still on the air with us, and you're still. I'm not going to hang up on you. Just want to remind you.
Okay, I'm not really familiar with words that bleep. I know people talk about unalive and stuff like that. I see that, and there's a culture.
It's not one of the 7 words. However, for the affiliates that we do still have, let's try to be a little bit.
See, you can say, you don't have to say unalive like TikTok here. It's actually a little more free, but you just can't say the worst of the worst curse words for the radio.
I don't know what I said, but that's okay. If it happens again, let me know. I'll try to adhere to it.
Just a-hole.
Now, there is a second angle that I had on this, and I don't know if I might be dating myself here, but I'm over 50, and I remember when I was growing up, there was an event, probably happened around 2004 or 5-ish. I'm not sure exactly when, but it was runaway Priuses. Anyone familiar with this?
No.
There were quite a few, and they, like when I go to search for this, I can only find one event. It's almost like people got a settlement, an NDA, and it really got squelched out.
Memory hold.
But
it's true.
Big time. And in the greater Los Angeles area, there was a series of events where people that had Priuses, it was as if they stomped on the gas pedal. They couldn't hit the button to turn the car off. All they could do was steer. And what they would do is they would go into they're on the freeway and they're totally pegged throttle, and they lost control of their vehicle. Everything's electric. There's no direct linkage like the standard vehicles we grew up on.
Yes.
And so what they found out later, and I didn't know it, but I was directly related to this project. My father was an aerospace engineer, and I became a bench tech. I'm not going to try to claim that I have any advanced technical knowledge, but I had 1 or 2 projects that I worked on. Well, someone at our work told us they found out that all of these runaway Priuses ended up happening near airports.
Whoa.
Well, I was working on a part that was linked to air traffic control, and the airplanes were automatic landing systems. And this was a new thing back then. I had built maybe 2,000 parts. Almost every major airport in the world has it. But when they put these in, they didn't realize that the same frequency or a similar enough frequency was affecting this hidden system that they put into Priuses where they were able to remote stop vehicles.
That's creepy.
Yeah, but because the DC pulse was maybe inverse or whatever, the logic board translating the DC, it ended up instead of it telling stop the vehicle, it was as if they were saying just slam the gas on.
So to be fair, that doesn't sound malicious though.
It wasn't intentionally malicious, I don't think.
All right.
I'm not even. I think what happened was the only thing that was malicious was getting the system into the vehicle without people knowing it. It's like, okay, you're a Prius owner, everything's electronic. We're just going to be able to stop these high-speed chases by hitting the button and pulling this guy over. Basically just prevent. Like,
Yeah. Well, they're trying to add that to modern vehicles as well. Like that's still on the table, even more so than your Ford camera.
Right, but when they first tried it, they didn't anchor the logic right. Like if you think like a you know, you do the crystal glass and you put water in it, how much water you change in there changes the frequency.
Yeah.
Well, now picture a massively high power signal coming out from an airport. The only thing is you're getting closer and closer to the airport, so the frequency is slightly adjusting. That's why.
No, I got the theory. I'm just saying it doesn't sound malicious. It sounds like an oversight, right?
No,
like we didn't know to test for this
that
because we didn't know the airport was going to interfere with the technology.
Right. That was a new project at the time, and a new project at the time, and probably the two different agencies didn't talk about frequencies and stuff.
And they've clearly figured it out because there's not new reports of runaway Priuses at airports.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Well,
Still weird that it seems to be memory hold. Like you said, you heard about it constantly, right? And you can only find like one instance.
I could only find one event of a person in a runaway Prius, but yeah, I do remember it being more than just a single person. Matter of fact, it was several. You know, I remember we were talking about runaway Priuses, like we're talking about a plural event because it was happening. Yeah,
well, the internet does memory hole things. I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. So,
no, and I think that if you like either were a part of the agency or if you're a part of Prius or part of whatever, anyone who was involved the inside, you're going to be like, hey, this isn't good coverage. It was an accident. Let's offer some people a settlement and get an NDA. And that's the right. Honestly, people say that that's a conspiracy. It's the right thing to do.
From a business perspective, absolutely.
So let's move this forward. What's with the search and seizure aspect? What can you fill me in, please?
Yeah, so like for example, some people will get. I remember one guy, he got a ticket for his running his heater during a power outage, or during some type of. What happened was they were using thermal imaging on his house, and they said, well, you can't. That it didn't hold up in the court because
they didn't have a warrant for FLIR
inside of the house. Yeah, you're searching inside of someone's domain or their premise without a warrant.
And so what if he was lighting a fire to keep himself warm? Why is that against the law?
Well, it was some kind of energy conservation. I can't remember what it was.
So why would you consent to that? My point is, why do you think that
Californians?
But why does anybody think those laws apply to them? Because if you read these sort of these laws, it applies to cities and counties and government. It doesn't apply to persons in their own houses. All right.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does.
No, it doesn't. It's only it's your imagination. It's in your imagination.
No. It was upheld in court.
It was upheld in court because they never litigated whether the law actually applied to him in his house.
Oh wait, sorry. I want to ask John.
Because the equipment that he used was invasive.
What equipment could be invasive?
And he didn't have a warrant.
No,
No. I think that you have it backwards, Barry.
In through the wall.
So John is saying that it was upheld in court that they couldn't stop him.
Yeah, I get it. But my point is, why should the court even have jurisdiction over that in the first place?
Well, what if they agreed to it when they signed up for the
No, that's
energy?
not true.
What if
the
these
court
people
had the jurisdiction to rule?
That's not true either.
Well, what if these people signed up and agreed that they won't run their heater during blah 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 when they signed up for the energy company? That could be it. I don't live in California. I'm assuming it's California, right?
No, I'm not in California now. I'm not sure exactly where that was.
My point is there are a lot of laws on the books which do not apply to the people, and which the people are mistakenly obeying, and that's the falsehood that I'm trying to attack personally. Mm-hmm. Right? For example, I'll give you an example. Right? For example, the federal income tax. I love talking about this. The federal income tax is not the federal tax on your income. It's the tax on your federal income. And if you haven't got any federal income, that whole damn thing doesn't even apply to you. You understand? All right. Now let me tell you something about the other stuff. You're allowed or not disallowed to use certain forms of heat or energy to heat residential properties. Okay.
Right.
But what's a residential property? If you look up the term residential property, for example, in Massachusetts, Mass General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 2A, calls a residential property a rooming house or a bed and breakfast home. That means you're running a business. Okay, so when people who run businesses heat their residential properties, they are subject to the regulations and the rules that the county passes or the state passes. However, under the Fourth Amendment, we the people have a right to be secure in our houses and in our way, and we have a right to seek and obtain our safety and happiness. And that includes on a cold day, right, burning wood to keep ourselves warm. So the critical difference here is statutory versus law. When you're talking about statutes that say, oh, you can't burn certain sources of fuel, such as wood or, oil, and you got to go with some energy efficient like electricity or liquid propane, that may be true if you believe in it. If you believe in it, it applies to you. If it don't believe in it, it doesn't apply to you.
Well,
I think I know
if you're
what
willing
Rich is
to
to say.
argue with that, I'm saying that
I'll argue with it.
We the people have to stand up, look at the law as it's written, and apply it exactly as it's written, not a step more. All right? Don't let government fool you into compliance, is what I'm saying.
You don't have to be fooled into compliance. You can disobey. They will come after you. They will invite you to court. You cannot go to court. They will drag you to court.
I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah, they will find you guilty.
That's not true. First of all, you're speaking from the point, and I do, with all due respect, every word you're using is wrong. They do not drag you into court. They drag you into an administrative proceeding.
Either way.
Okay. No, it's a big difference. It's a huge, huge difference.
They drag you into their system.
It was litigated.
They put you in jail against your will.
Look, all that stuff.
You are asking for something that will never happen, which is you want freedom or liberty without knowledge. All right. In the Bible it says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge."
Right,
That's the reason. That's the reason we the people are suffering. Nobody has a right to tell you what you can do in your own house, whether to warm yourself or whether you're keeping arms.
There's a whole bunch of people with the secret knowledge, and they get nowhere.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people
That's
get
not
somewhere.
true. That's not true.
Like Bear, but the thing is, like, what if one day they just want to go after you? I hate to say it.
Because it's like,
I don't want that to happen.
It's like if everybody has the knowledge, nobody gets in trouble. If the majority of the people don't have the knowledge, then everybody gets in trouble. Okay?
Well, yeah, that's why they dumb people down in school.
Exactly.
I was surprised. You can go through an entire like kindergarten through high school, and they don't even give you a half an hour on credit score.
They don't want to, and the credit score doesn't even apply to you. It applies to juristic persons. Okay.
Well, for example, like anything will help you.
So
they don't tell you anything about the law, engaging with officers. All the
Of course not. That would subvert the system that they are trying to uphold.
Well, if they did, do you think they're going to give you the correct information?
Of course not.
Okay.
So that's why I write these books. Okay, John, I invite you to read one of my books. It's at lawfultaxavoidance.com. Okay, go read that. And you will understand how the laws are written, how they are constructed, how they are construed, which, by the way, is a similar word, and then how they are applied.
But don't sue Bear if you go through that procedure and you still end up behind bars.
Well, it sounds like
That is
John
not
is
true.
open-minded
Okay,
enough.
sue Bear.
That is not true. I've stood
No, he
my
said
ground.
don't sue you. He said don't sue you if it happens.
I've stood my ground in front of a jury of my peers, and I won. Okay,
Yes.
I beat them.
You've got a really solid voice on the legal things, and the terms that people use do matter. And I'm a hack when it comes to stuff like this. I do try to find out. I'm looking into it more, and I'm really thankful for several
just be
different
careful
channels
during your
out there.
research.
Yeah.
Right.
Thankful for what was that? What thankful for what?
Just a lot of like independent channels, even just like your radio right here, talking to people, and it's like.
How did you find
breaking
us?
the
What are
bread.
you listening on? If you don't mind me asking.
Twitch.
Awesome. That's cool. I keep forgetting to ask people that, so that's great to know.
I've not been in court as much as Bear, but I've won more cases than I should have. Right, using various techniques and procedures or whatever. We're like, I can't believe I actually won that.
Right.
Yeah, no,
but it's on some sort of technicality.
Mine was a technicality too.
It's always some sort of technicality on their system, right? Like the one that sticks out in my mind right now is I've gotten in trouble, I think 3 times for selling cigarettes to a minor when I was working at a gas station. And I think I got away with it twice.
And they criminally charged you for that?
Yeah, I had to go to court.
Oh, no.
But
I'll
one of
give you a
them,
crazy one
like they went through the
regarding
whole
cigarettes
case
after this, yeah.
and then threw it out at the end because the prosecutor's office forgot to bring the pack of cigarettes from the evidence locker.
Wow.
Right.
That's hilarious.
And
Did
so
you
the
say
judge
same
went like
thing?
not guilty, like, and I went with prejudice, dismissed with prejudice,
Nice.
and he was glaring at the prosecutor because it was like a solid case.
Did you say that the same thing happened to you, John? Or you
well,
went?
no, in court, I've been steamrolled. The first time I had to go through the legal system, I got steamrolled, and I'll tell you about that. But I want to tell you about this cigarette case first.
Oh,
somebody I knew. I remember his first name was John, and he's same name as I had in California. He was in front of like some store, and some kids came over. He's like my generation, like above 40 or whatever, and surfer talk and all this. And the post teens, 20, 21, young 26 something year olds were coming in, and they were smoking. And he goes, "Oh man, I would kill for a cigarette." That's what he said. They got him on terrorist threats, and the deal they were offering him was 3 strikes.
Because he had 2 priors, or because they had 3
No.
felonies lined up?
It was his first time being arrested.
What does that mean? The deal is 3 strikes.
Life in prison.
No.
For what? Terrorism? So
terrorist
so
threats.
hold on. Just because they charge this guy with terrorism, do they expect to actually prevail before a court of
I don't know. This
No, they
was
expect him to
around
plea out on something
This
lesser.
was around the 2009 era. I mean,
yeah, it make so here's the thing. A lot of prosecutors will upgrade the charges to threaten you, to intimidate you. All right, we don't have to play their game. Don't
usually
plead
to try to take a deal, right?
No, you're not supposed to take a deal. If you're in the right, then you should fight that thing. I would fight. I fought all my charges.
Yeah.
If you take a plea deal,
Taking the plea deal, it does encourage them.
it just makes their job easier.
Yep.
And it makes tyranny harder on the rest of us. Fight every single one of these charges, especially these
And a lot
bogus
of times
ones.
they realize they can't actually defend themselves. The state they realize they
Right.
can't defend themselves, the wrong word, but they can't actually
They can't
get
prove
you,
that-
so
Yeah.
they'll drop the thing.
They will drop it. For
If you
example,
just say,
I
"I'm
have a
not taking a
friend.
plea deal."
I have a friend in Connecticut. He was charged with driving without a license. All right, and he fought it, and the judge couldn't find a faster excuse to dismiss it right away.
Right.
All right,
Nice.
because he saw what was going on in his paperwork, and it was solid.
But let's also bring up Ian, right? Because he got steamrolled by a crap jury.
Well, no, he got steamrolled by his own attorney. Let me just be very frank with that.
I agree with Bear on that.
I spoke with his attorney. I told him what elements to fight and how to fight it.
Sure.
He didn't listen to me. All right, and not that he should have, but what I told him was very common sense things, and he wasn't interested in Ian's victory. He was interested in doing the lawyer thing, the
Yeah, I
attorney
agree.
thing,
which
Okay?
is fine. But like Ian, they produced Ian's case, right? The judge even said there's not enough evidence for this one charge. We're throwing it out, but didn't do that with something else, right? And then the jury didn't care about any of the evidence that was presented.
Yeah,
they
the
just
jury
went
was
guilty.
also a problem. I'll agree with that.
Yes.
But I think that if Ian
But
would
they're
have
the last
represented
line
himself,
of defense.
No. See, the jury was not really Ian's jury, and that's because Ian didn't select his jury. His attorney selected his jury. Had Ian gone before the court for himself, he would have probably been acquitted. And I'll
Yeah,
tell
like
you why. He's a very eloquent and well-spoken gentleman. He's a peaceful man, and he's an intelligent man.
Sure.
And that would have shined through easily with a jury of his peers that he selected for himself.
But you don't get to pick your jury.
Yes, you do.
By the way, John,
You get to select from a pool, and
that's good enough. That's
and
good
like,
enough.
here's one thing that would have changed them. So, by the way, John, and any listener, we're talking about my husband, Ian Freeman. He went to prison, and he's in prison now for 8 years for running an unlicensed money transmitting business, but the real reason is selling Bitcoin. It's not the charge, isn't selling Bitcoin.
Yeah, wow.
And
but they paraded a bunch of romance scam victims
that were not his victims.
that were not his victims.
What state was it? Can I ask?
It's New Hampshire, but it was federal.
Okay.
So the very basic element of a money transmitter, okay? Money transmitter is not just from one person A to another person B. Money transmitter is the person B when A wants to give to C. All right? So A gives money to B in order that B gives to C. So the money transmitter in that situation is B. In Ian's case, there's always only been two parties, the seller and the buyer.
Mhm.
There was no transmitter at all. That is a jurisdictional failure that not only his attorney did not want to overlooked, but he didn't want to consider it at all.
Yeah.
So think about that. Think about whose side he must be on.
Your lawyer is always on the court
some of the
side.
charges, some of the charges that they're drumming up, just they don't fit at all. I remember some dude had like
You gotta
had
fight
a
'em.
weapon in a fast food store, and they tried to charge him with possession of a weapon of mass destruction.
What?
And a conventional like warhead, like the Moab and all that stuff. Like it's not even considered a weapon of mass destruction because it's
In California? Is that right?
Well, no, it wasn't. I don't think that was California. I was out there at the time when it happened. I'm in Oklahoma now, but it was a different state. But yeah, they tried to charge him with weapon. I wanted to ask you, did you hear what happened with Steam recently? I think it was the Rothschild or something. It was a huge W that they had. A huge
Steam,
W. If you
the
haven't seen
website
it,
for video games?
Yes. Like they won like a big thing, and then they tried to come back because they had a license to use something, and they gave permission, and then they found like a different like way that they were trying to like basically retry the case, and they were considering it malicious, and the dude had a big W. If you haven't seen it, I know I've kind of had like a lot of time here, and I wanted to thank you guys for having me on. So, but like I said, I just saw you guys. I tuned in for like 3 minutes. You guys said call in, and I really had a good time talking with you guys.
I had a good time talking to you too. It's fun to
We're
talk to
live
new
Saturdays
people.
and Sundays from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern if you ever want to call in again.
Yeah. I'm a commercial driver, so usually I'm on the road, but this weekend I was home, and so I've just been filling up some time.
Well,
Anyway,
definitely.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Definitely call back anytime you want. And the phone number is 603-283-6160. I found it fun that he's even what's the word? Contemplating thoughts like Bear's thoughts when it's like, if it was just some random person on the street, they might just be like, you're crazy, So that's fun.
Yeah.
And always great to talk to people like that. We have more people on the line, but I don't want to get into calls and immediately have to cut them off because more Free Talk Live is coming up, and you can call 603-283 to get in on the conversation with us.
It would be nice as everyone could be as effective as Bear, but the on the table, like if you find yourself in court, right, the likelihood, the probability is you're going to get steamrolled as opposed to you're going to fill out the right form or say the right thing.
But
or
that's not the
recite
attitude.
the magic incantation.
That's not the attitude that we should, propagate. That's
And
not an
the other
attitude.
thing is, like, Ian may
Just
have...
be aware, that it's not good. It may not work out the way we're promoting it.
The thing is, like, Ian may have gotten steamrolled, but he also didn't represent himself. And if I could go back in time, I'd probably push more for him to represent himself. But more Free Talk Live is coming up. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. More calls and more stuff from us coming up. Free Talk Live. Don't go anywhere.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
Sunfest is on the line in California.
Yeah, the greatest danger is that they're destroying the sun and the earth.
Whoa. Slow down, Sunfest. Slow down. Who is destroying the sun?
The economy. Everything that's happening is a
What?
job hunt. It's a job tax.
What are you talking about?
Definitely. The sun is waning, the water is rising, and we need the sun to dry it. When you have an economy that's creating jobs on a war scale, 24 hours a day, the cosmos can't keep up with it, let alone the sun. There's dark
Hang on, what?
Andromeda, which is hurling at us. If you're not informed, you can go out and get the information.
That's
but
our name tonight.
Stop your sexist attack on women, whereas you hear anything
You
that
are
the men
so
have to say.
outrageous. Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern at freetalklive.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann with the Week in Review. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer vowed this week to fight on in his job despite speculation of a leadership challenge. It comes after criticism over his appointment of Peter Mandelson as ambassador to the United States despite his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Stuart Smith has more from London.
Keir Starmer has apologised to the public on Thursday, saying he was sorry for having believed Mandelson's lies and for appointing him as London's ambassador to Washington. Peter Mandelson was a heavyweight in the Labour Party for decades and a well-known friend of Jeffrey Epstein. Despite that, Keir Starmer's government invited him to become US ambassador last year, but documents released by the US government in the Epstein files include his name 6,000 times, showing the extent of that relationship, leading to questions about the judgment of Keir Starmer and his aides in appointing Mandelson to the role.
A suicide bomber attacked a mosque in Islamabad during Friday prayers, killing at least 31 people and injuring more than 160 others. It is the deadliest attack in the Pakistan capital in more than a decade. Hira Mustafa has more from Islamabad.
Residents of the locality have described scenes of panic and chaos in the aftermath of the blast as locals try to take those injured to nearby hospitals. Forensic teams are on site collecting evidence to aid the investigation. Police, rangers and army personnel have also been deployed and the area has been cordoned off. Hospitals across the capital remain on high alert and officials have said they fear the death toll could rise further. The Prime Minister and Foreign Minister have condemned the attack. Pakistan's President Asif Ali Zardari has said targeting innocent civilians is a crime against humanity.
Nuclear talks between the US and Iran ended on Friday with little evidence either side has budged on its demands. Neither side spoke face-to-face. The talks instead were mediated by Oman, with a US delegation led by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. The negotiations come amid a US military build-up in the region and fears of a regional conflict. Tony Waterman has more from Washington.
Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, called the talks a good start, but said deep distrust is a serious challenge to the negotiations. He said Friday's talks were limited to Iran's nuclear program, short of U.S. demands to also discuss Tehran's missile program, the backing of regional militias, and the killing of protesters. This is the first time the two sides have talked since the U.S. strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities last June.
Russia and Ukraine have exchanged over 300 prisoners amid peace talks in Abu Dhabi. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says the talks were not easy, but said Ukraine has been and will remain as constructive as possible. Meanwhile, Moscow says Zelensky does not seek peace. Dasha Chernyshova has more from Moscow.
Russian Defense Ministry says it returned 157 servicemen from Ukrainian captivity, as well as 3 residents of the Kursk region that were captured during the Ukrainian incursion in 2024. The Kremlin says it is still too early to talk about the results of the trilateral talks, but the Russian delegation is promptly reporting information to the Russian president. These talks included security officials from Russia and Ukraine. Separately, Russia's economic envoy Kirill Dmitriev, who was also in Abu Dhabi holding talks on the economic track and US-Russia cooperation, said that there was good positive movement forward.
And finally this week, the White House has signaled it's open to negotiating with Democrats over immigration enforcement reforms to end a funding fight. Lawmakers are facing a Friday the 13th deadline to secure funding for the Department of Homeland Security following controversial killings in Minneapolis by the department's employees. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
A change of tune from the White House. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt saying the administration is willing to discuss some of the reform options the Democrats have put forward. They have laid out a 10-point proposal, all aimed at reining in ICE agents' activities on US streets. The Democrat demands include ICE agents not wearing masks or face coverings, always carrying ID, and needing a judicial warrant to enter a private property. The Republicans had initially flatly refused those demands, but now, while the White House says some of the suggestions are non-starters, it seems that the president may be willing to negotiate. At stake is trying to pass a full year's funding for the Department of Homeland Security. If that doesn't happen before next Friday, funding runs out for the department.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
A harrowing situation on Broad Street came to its conclusion Thursday night as a group of hostages were freed from local comedy club The Laugh Up Lounge after a tense 7-minute stand-up set.
Every once in a while, he'd grab his notebook, and I'd think maybe this is it. Maybe he's gonna let us go. But he just kept talking.
Additionally, The Onion recovered this video footage from the cell phone of one of the many captives.
Hey, sir, what do you do for work?
If someone sees this, help us. Please help us.
Yeah, micromanagement. You guys are totally gonna wang it out.
Oh my God. Oh my God, no.
Cool.
I'm not a religious person, but at one point I said the Lord's Prayer, and it actually had a calming effect. Like Jesus was standing next to me and said, "You're gonna get through this."
I mean, sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, don't take life for granted because you just never know when something like this could happen. So,
This is the Onion News Network.
We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. It's talk radio that you control. 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us. That was fun last segment. We had a new caller, and we have more callers on the line to have fun talking to. 603-283-6160 is the number. We still have room for you. And with you on Free Talk Live, you've got me, Bonnie.
Bear arms.
And Richie Rich.
And if you're tired of the oppressive rules and moderation of the big tech social media sites, our Mastodon server at social.freetalklive.com can set you free. Mastodon is free, open source, decentralized, and federated. Multiple apps are available for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux. Social.freetalklive.com. And let's go to the phones. We have Dave Ridley in Colorado. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind, Dave Ridley?
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, last week we talked about this year in Free State history,
yes,
and the interesting things that happened in 2005. So I was kind of going back 20 years ago to the things that to some of the interesting things that happened to Free Staters in 2005, and I wanted to continue that story tonight.
Okay, so is it the same guy or a different activist in this case?
Different activists, but the same tactic. So I was telling you last week about how this guy named Mike Fisher he was sort of responsible for the Free State Project, discovering civil disobedience with this brilliant civil disobedience that he did again by doing an illegal manicure, like a manicure without a license.
Awesome.
So
is that above or below the illegal puppeteering? If you were to rank these,
is there actually license for puppeteering?
This is before the puppeteering.
Okay.
What? This is a real thing? Oh my God! I'm really glad. Dave Ridley.
Bonnie doesn't know about the illegal puppeteering, Dave.
I'm so glad you're doing this, Dave Ridley, because I didn't know about the illegal manicure, and that was so cool to learn about. So either way, we don't have to talk about the puppeteering. If you have, what was it you wanted to bring up this year 10 years ago in
this year 20 years ago.
20.
So this month 20 years ago. I guess you could say. So,
me, I wasn't there. Anyways, go ahead.
So this guy named Russell Canning moved to New Hampshire about a year after Mike Fisher, who had done the outlaw manicure, and he's pretty OG, and not very scared of very many things. So he was just sitting around with some people, and he heard Mike Fisher talking about it. And he says, "What? all we got to do is go get arrested. Oh, I can do that.
Nice.
so he decided right after Mike Fisher's disobedience, he said, well, what I'm going to do for disobedience is I'm going to try to get on an airplane without showing an ID. And so he did that. He announced he was going to do it. He did the textbook thing, informed the authorities exactly what he was going to do. And the FBI came to his house.
And for the record, I don't think getting on an airplane without ID is illegal, right? There are processes and procedures to do that.
He was also going to refuse to submit to like pat down and stuff like that.
Okay.
Nice.
So FBI came to his house. I guess the day he left to go to the airport to do his civil disobedience, they were parked in front of his house and pretended they weren't FBI, and they just kind of wouldn't look at the house even though they were right in front of it facing it. They wouldn't look at anybody, wouldn't interact with anybody. As soon as he left to drive to the airport, they just followed him all the way to the airport. So he does it, and it gets almost as much publicity as Mike Fisher's high publicity outlaw manicure. And Canning, I don't remember how long he was in jail, but I feel like his charges were actually lighter than Mike Fisher's charges for delivering the manicure.
But wait. Russell Canning got charged for this? What was the charge?
Yes, he was charged. So I don't remember what all the charges were, but they arrested him at the line as he was standing in the line and trying to go in. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Public nuisance.
But again,
one of those catch-all charges.
Yeah, I don't think any of us videotaped it. We got some stills, and it was on the news. Like the TV station videotaped it. And I don't. There's probably a lot of other really interesting details that he could tell you about it that I don't remember, and that he experienced that I didn't experience. But he did turn around and do it again. I think about a year later, he did not the same thing, but this time he went to an IRS office to illegally hand out flyers.
Nice.
And
what was illegal about it?
Too. Oh, it's not illegal.
Pamphleteering.
It violates there's a regulation called distribution of handbills that you can be arrested for if you hand out pieces of paper on federal property.
Okay.
So are you in contact with any of the higher ups of the FSP in any way, shape, or form, Dave?
Well, I could probably find their contact information, but right. I don't talk to them frequently.
Okay, because I think they recently at some FSP function that happened recently in New Hampshire.
Porcupine Day, probably.
Well, they gave out a lifetime achievement award.
Oh, okay.
For activism. So
you know who it was?
I think it was Bill and Gail Domenico.
Oh, awesome! That's great. They definitely deserve that.
Okay, good. But point is, they're giving out awards for this kind of stuff now. So if Dave's going through this list, if you want, I don't know if the FSP is taking nominations, or if if they just need to be reminded of some of these people.
Yeah.
Right. It might be a good idea to say, hey, as long as we're giving out awards now, here's some other deserving candidates I'd like to nominate.
I mentioned to Dave when he started calling this year, doing his renewing his series for 2026 on this year 20 years ago in New Hampshire activism. I told him that recently Carla's been doing, and I don't know if it's going to be exactly as prolific as Dave's. It sounds like he's going to be doing this all year. But Carla's been doing a thing, Carla Garrick, where she's going to do on her podcast just different stories about activism that she was involved in in the early days. And I love this. I did one episode of a podcast, and the thing was I couldn't ever schedule Russell Canning, so I got distracted and haven't done another. But I would still, 3 years in between, do another episode of this podcast, and maybe people need this drilled into their head,
There you
go. But I did Dave Ridley, so you can look up Bonnie's Activist Archives on the Free Talk Live, anywhere you listen to Free Talk Live, and you can listen to my interview of Dave Ridley's whole story, and it's awesome. That's I'm pretty proud of that, even though I did one and done.
And you never got to the illegal puppeteering.
No, I hadn't heard of that.
Shame.
But this time we're talking about illegally flying without a license or pat down, so.
Well, flying without ID.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Russell kind of has the perfect demeanor for this sort of thing because he's really a pithy talker. He's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And so he took on the mantle. He took on the practice of wearing, farmer's overalls and a straw hat and carrying a pitchfork to all his civil disobedience events.
Oh, my God.
And he was always had just a very happy, genial, approach toward the enemy and toward his circumstances, whatever they might impose on him, and that helped.
That's hilarious. Yeah, he seems like the type of person to let things like roll off his back, if that makes sense.
Well, it also de-escalates the situation before it has the opportunity to escalate.
By being funny.
Right. Well, and by being in that demeanor,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you want to be confrontational, you absolutely can be.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But this also works as a tactic.
Hmm.
He had a snowball raid on a federal building, so they threw snowballs at the federal building. And there was another one where it was a FEMA flag burn. They burned a FEMA flag. And this stuff, again, this was in the news, easily got in the news. And then the other thing he did that was most interesting was he planned to do a demonstration in front of a seminar. There's going to be a seminar on how to seize people's houses.
Oh, for the feds.
You
make it easier for the government to seize people's houses. So he wanted to go to the seminar and hold a sign. So he was outside the seminar holding a sign. But while he was planning to do that, he discovered, the president is also coming to the same block just because it's New Hampshire, And so Bush came to visit 2006, I think. So Bush visits the same block that New Hampshire that Russell had already scheduled a demonstration for something completely unrelated. And so they arrested Russell for being at his own demonstration on a public sidewalk where he had planned long before Bush. And it was like right in front of the Radisson Hotel in Manchester, as I recall.
George Bush got him arrested because why? Were they trying to say you're too close to the president, you seem like a danger or something?
Manchester PD arrested him.
So typically these wrongful arrests should be followed by a lawsuit and some money should come back to the activist. Do we know if he had any financial gains from this activity?
Well, by the time he wound up in court, our video infrastructure was a little bit better. And now what I do remember is that there was quite a bit of video shot at and surrounding the courthouse. And what I do remember is the police tried to stop the videographer from filming on a public sidewalk in front of the court. In front of the courthouse.
So a second lawsuit then.
Yeah.
For First Amendment violation.
That's the second time I've seen MPD threaten that videographer and try to force him to turn his camera off.
Okay. Yeah, every time they do that should be followed by a lawsuit. Make them pay until they learn their lesson, and if they never learn their lesson, then you have a substantial source of income every time you do this.
I would disagree with that, but again, it's about semantics.
Oh, because I used the word income?
And source, right.
Okay.
Source means government sources of revenue, and income means government income.
Well, it's coming from the government.
Maybe it is
So
a
will
source
they
of
tax
revenue.
you? Yeah.
That's good.
Hmm.
So you could be taxed. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
It
yeah.
is.
Interesting. I found this Free Keene article when I typed in Russell Canning arrest in New Hampshire. This is by Guardian on Free Keene. Ridley's visual history of Russell Canning arrests. That's fun. So that's something to go check out if you guys are interested. There's a picture of Russell Canning with holding a sign saying. No, it is Cat Russell. Okay, it says taxes pay for torture, and that's the thing Ridley likes to say a lot. Maybe not that exact quote, but I always try to copy Ridley whenever I'm talking about, whenever somebody calls it the Empire, and I'm like, yep, the Empire, that tortures people, because it's I think it's important we always remember that.
Yep. And be a single issue tax protester, so if you don't like torture, right, don't pay your taxes.
Yep. You are funding torture if you're funding the federal empire. Is that all you have for us, Ridley?
That's pretty much the end of Russell's New Hampshire civil disobedience rampage. I can tell you more things about the civil disobedience of 05 and 06. You can either do that now or later.
Keep the series going. Call in weekly.
Yeah, I love this series. I really do.
If you can narrow it down to monthly, that'd be even better. This is what happened in February of 2006.
Yeah, it's hilarious that it's able to be called a rampage, and I love that. And he is still an activist. You don't have to, do the arrest flavored activism for life. He didn't just go and run away and live in Mexico. But thank you for the call, Ridley. And for more Ridley, you can go to ridleyreport.com. We just wanted to get to some of these other callers. We have a caller, Tom in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Well, I was at the union meeting this morning, in Manchester about
Which union? Sorry.
Teamsters 633 local in Manchester, New Hampshire. And they're talking about different Teamster organized things, including police departments.
Oh.
And some towns, they have a contract. The police union is getting a contract with the town, and the voters are going to vote on the contract.
Are you a member of this union, or was this a Teamster meeting open to the public? Okay. I am a UPS package handler, and so I have to be a member of Teamster 633. Okay.
And what I was getting at is, here's an opportunity, since some police departments have a contract coming up in the ballot, and other police departments, well, they have a budget issue. Shall the town adopt this budget that has such amount for the police department? And one town I found that is one of the partner agencies, the 287G partner agency with the notorious Immigration and Customs Enforcement goons, is the question, shall the town hire a fifth full-time police officer? And so you can send letters to the editor, and even on election day, you can say, vote no on question 9. In that town, that was Carroll, New Hampshire, not to be confused with Carroll County. It's up in Coos County. But Candia, for example, has a ballot question on adopting the budget. And so I sent a letter to the editor to a newspaper that circulates there saying that people should vote no on that budget because there's money for Immigration and Customs Enforcement to go and to detain random persons of color and to kidnap God's children off the street and force them onto aircraft bound for faraway lands to spend the rest of their lives in wretched third world poverty. Because now that the Candia Police Department has a 287G partnership agreement in effect, that means they're just another regiment. Always remember that the police forces of a hostile domestic government are the enemy as much as the armed forces of a hostile foreign government are. That's what I put in there. And I suggested, and another nonviolent way to resist is to resolve right now that you will never render aid to an Immigration and Customs Enforcement goon in distress. And that includes if you're not required to do so. Okay, obviously, I mean, if you're a paramedic on the ambulance crew, then they get called to the scene. You're required to render aid, but most of us are not.
I have a feeling I'll never be lucky enough to be in this situation, so it's fine.
I will make the pledge anyway. I pledge never to render aid
nice.
to one of those people.
Awesome.
And I mentioned that also includes not only the Candia Police Department, but the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office and the New Hampshire State Police, because they are regiments of Immigration and Customs Enforcement as well. And so, and then I mentioned, if somebody was born outside some lines on the map, what are they supposed to do about it?
Not come here. Not come here. That's what they're supposed to do about it. Stay there.
They're supposed to live in wretched third world poverty for the rest of their lives. If the rule of law says that they have to spend all their whole lives, billions of God's children have to spend their lives in wretched third world poverty, they can take their rule of law and shove it.
I'm with you, Tom.
Well, yes. Tom, I don't think that many people are going to be in a situation where, it's all up to Bonnie. Bonnie, you got to give him CPR. Besides, I would plead, I'm just a girl and I'm too little.
Look,
I couldn't do it.
I learned CPR and then I didn't sign the certification for him because I did not want to be compelled to have to do it on someone I didn't like.
Oh, yeah.
Like if my friend was dying and needed CPR, like I know the technique. But if my enemy was dying of CPR and I was the only person there that could save his life, like, oh, you got the certification, you have to render aid. Like, no, I do
or you
not.
Go to jail. That's honestly
I am not certified.
I don't think that I would ever be like, so callous that even I gotta say, like, my enemy is doing it. I don't know, but the thing is,
I'm petty.
The fact that maybe I would let's say that too, but I'm just saying, it's just the fact that you could go to jail for not doing it. It's like, that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you kind of agree
if
when
you're qualified to do it. Yeah.
But it's
well,
just...
I don't think that's actually true because, like in Winnebago versus Descheny, the cops are not. They do not have an affirmative duty to render aid. So even if your
But
license
we don't have
says
qualified immunity and stuff.
right, I know, but that's true. It's not. That's not about qualified immunity.
Oh, okay.
This is about the rights that extend from the delegation from each person. For example, the police officer, their powers come from you and I, right? Now, allegedly, and if they don't want to. If you didn't want to help your neighbor, then the police officer is not obligated to help your neighbor either. That's kind of like the logic, right? So if you get your CPR certification and you don't want to help somebody, that's really up to you.
It should be.
I
wasn't taking any chances.
You shouldn't be able to... Nobody should be able to put you in a cage for simply not doing something.
You're right. No, I don't think that would fly.
But I do think...
It may not, but I doubled down and didn't...
Threat.
People also have the right to say, I believe that is messed up of you, and you should be able to accept that.
Which is fine.
But not put you in a cage.
Right.
Because, and I have to bring that up because I was, what's the word, criticizing this case in Israel where a man said, no, you can't even use my cell phone to call an ambulance because that guy's not a Jew and it's the Sabbath.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if you're walking by
I
a
don't think he
pond
should
and
go
there's
to
a
jail.
drowning child and you say, listen, I don't feel like jumping in and grabbing him.
Yeah.
Nobody can put you in jail for that.
But if you're a certified lifeguard...
No, that's not true. If you're not on duty, you have no duty
You might
to
have signed
do that.
something, though. I don't know. If you might have signed something that said that.
Okay, so about signatures in general, you can
Can I
always
point
sign
something out here?
something without prejudice. That means you agree to take the benefits, but you don't have the obligation of rendering aid.
Which is what I did without signing anything.
Another way to sign something is sign it non-assumpsit. It means you're not undertaking to undergo the contract. Okay, that's how I sign a lot of my IRS papers.
What would
by
it
the way.
mean? Just like I noticed or something? Why would you sign it?
Non-assumpsit.
What would be the difference between that and just not signing it, though?
Well, I mean, you don't
let
have
me
to
point
sign it.
something out here. I saw a video. I saw a video of this guy waiting in line at a drive-through fast food place, waiting in line, and he sees coming towards him a fleeing suspect running and a cop in hot pursuit, and the guy timed it perfectly to open the truck door into the fleeing suspect's path, and the fleeing suspect bumps into the car door, and that slowed the fleeing suspect down just enough that the cop was able to catch up. But you don't know why the cop was pursuing the human, and for all we know, it could be, he's looks Hispanic, so let's arrest him if he doesn't have his passport with him and stuff like that. So, don't render that kind of aid either. But
interesting.
If they drive off the road and smash into a tree, make sure there isn't a shoplifter in the backseat who's under arrest for stealing a candy bar. And then if the patrol car goes up in flames, then let the Immigration and Customs Enforcement goon in a New Hampshire State Trooper uniform roast to death. It serves them right for maliciously remaining a member of an organized force that's on a mission to kidnap God's children off the streets and force them onto aircraft.
Exercise your First Amendment right.
For the
video,
record,
too.
you can do whatever you want. For the record, I would not agree with that kind of thing. Okay, but that's just me. Me personally.
Exactly. You can have that opinion, and I say, Tom, I respect your opinion, and I'm not going to say anything with myself. Like
I'm
what
with Tom,
I
then.
do. Yeah, I'm going to say, Tom, I do not think you're a bad person for that. That's what I'll say. Yep. We all get to do these things because we have, not just because of the Constitution, we just have the right to free speech.
Well, and a lot of them deserve it, right?
Thank you for the call, Tom.
They're in that group of parasite class.
Correct.
That they're already exercising violence, like that's part of their nature, that's part of their job, right? They wouldn't necessarily render aid for you if you were a criminal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen that in Minnesota recently.
Or if you're like having an actual medical emergency under their care.
Yeah, well, in their care is a little bit different, and I'm sure Bear will comment on that, but that's like the only time that they are responsible for your well-being.
But they don't.
They don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
You could be in jail dying of like ketoacidosis, and they don't care.
And there's been times they said, no, I think he's faking it and stuff.
But that's when they are required by law to actually protect.
More Free Talk Live coming up, 603-283-6160. The other thing is that just the job attracts the type of person who would be bad enough to let somebody die under their care like that. More Free Talk Live coming up.
Hey, you are going to love the movie Victimless Crime Spree. It's hilarious. heartwarming, and carries a ton of inspiring freedom messages. Feeling down about the lack of liberty in your life? You need to put on this film with some friends and have a good laugh. It's a true story about me and my friends in New Hampshire living free, singing, dancing, and getting arrested. Of course, it's all on video, and the bad guys, the cops, judges, bailiffs, and sheriffs, they all play their part like it's out of a movie or something. You would think we scripted the whole thing, but it's real life. Go ahead and have a watch, and if it's been a while, have another look. I guarantee you'll notice things now that you didn't notice before. And the best part is that you're going to walk away feeling a renewed sense of your own power. You are the master of your destiny, and you will be free in your lifetime. Victimless Crime Spree.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman. Nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran have ended with little evidence either side has budged from its demands. Neither side spoke face-to-face. The talks instead were mediated by Oman, with the U.S. delegation led by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi called the talks a good start, but said deep distrust is a serious challenge to the negotiations. He said Friday's talks were limited to Iran's nuclear program. That has not been confirmed by the U.S., but if it is true, it would fall short of Washington's demands to also discuss Tehran's missile program, the backing of regional militias, and the killing of protesters. This is the first time the two sides have talked since the U.S. strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities last June. And it comes amid a massive U.S. military buildup in the Middle East, which President Trump has threatened to use if Iran doesn't end its nuclear program. The U.S. has arrested a man suspected of helping to plan and orchestrate the 2012 attack on the U.S. mission in Benghazi, Libya. 4 Americans died, including the U.S. ambassador. FSN's Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Zubair al-Barkush has been brought to the United States to stand trial, arriving early Friday morning at Andrews Air Base, just outside of Washington, D.C. He's charged with crimes including the 4 murders, including that of U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens. It's unclear how long he's been in U.S. custody, ahead of Friday's announcement by the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. The 2012 assault on the U.S. mission created political division, with Republicans blaming the then Obama administration's response and saying there had been insufficient security at the compound.
A ransom deadline in the abduction of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie has passed as new details about what's in that letter emerge. TMZ, which is one of at least 3 media outlets that claim to have received the ransom note, says there are specific details about the placement of Nancy's Apple Watch that could prove its authenticity. FSN's Mitch McCann reports.
Her family has now posted a second video in which her son Cameron asks Nancy's kidnappers to make contact and prove that she is safe.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly.
The video comes as investigators look into reported ransom notes sent to various media outlets. Nancy is believed to have been taken from her property after arriving home late last Saturday night, and officials say her blood was found in the vicinity of the home.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
You can help spread the ideas of liberty with our Patreon for just $5 per month at amps.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That means that you can call in. Please call in because there's still room for you. 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. And the phone number that I just gave is the number for you to call in and bring up whatever is on your mind. With you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Bear Arms.
And Richie Rich. And please call in quickly, like ASAP. I'm going to vamp as much as possible to give you the opportunity to call in.
It would be great if you
so
call
we
in.
don't have to go to these next calls, which we will if you don't call in right now.
It's your fault if we
It's
have
your
to go
fault.
to these next two calls. If
Blaming you non-caller.
if you're listening and not calling, well, it looks like we're out of time or out of
Darn.
vamping for this, because we already basically told the listeners how Gen Z was just proclaimed or officially
Dumber
dubbed
than the previous generation.
the only generation to be officially dumber than the last. That's pretty crazy.
Oh, we got another caller. I
think
just
that
saw the
we
phone light up.
May have just gotten another caller, and I'm really interested to see who it is. Rob from Vermont. Thank you, Rob from Vermont. You've saved
My
us.
savior.
My savior. What's on your mind, Rob from Vermont?
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Good. How
Better
are you?
now, Rob.
It's so
Better
great
now.
to hear your voice.
Hey, so I just wanted to bring to you guys' attention and to the attention of the the public is House Bill 1001 in New Hampshire. There was a hearing. It was last week, and this bill would allow county attorneys to hire their own sworn investigators with full police powers under the county attorney's direct operational control. If those investigators are or become police certified. In other words,
What would they be investigating?
well, I mean, they would be essentially, doing the same thing as what the sheriff is, what we pay. And
So
we
bureaucratic redundancy?
They would do the same thing. And the lame excuse that I heard, because I saw this on YouTube, was, that the sheriff has got a lot of work that they're doing, and for them to do investigative work and stuff like that, that would take them away from other important things that they should be doing. I mean, that was the language that was used.
Okay.
This is interesting. I pulled it up. It just says, this bill allows for the appointment by county attorneys of investigators with law enforcement powers. Like, that's so vague. And
I don't know if I want another person with law enforcement powers.
Right.
Like, what does that entail?
that's bad enough all by itself.
You're going to call in code 19.7?
Each appointee shall... Oh, go ahead.
Imagine this, and this was brought up in this hearing. This representative said that we have a county attorney over in Cheshire County that has an officer, McLaughlin, has all kinds of credibility issues and, has done a lot of... I mean, can you imagine giving that guy the authority to, have that kind of police power, fire, make all those decisions without not having to go through, the police standards and training council and all of the things that you would need to do to become a police officer. That would all be bypassed by the county attorney's office, as I understand it.
I also just don't know what this investigator role is, so I Googled what is a New Hampshire investigator appointed by county attorney, and it says in New Hampshire, an investigator appointed by county attorney, also known as a county investigator, is a staff member within the county attorney's office responsible for assisting prosecutors in the investigation, preparation, and prosecution of criminal cases. So that would just mean that could be
They're
a cop.
the evidence collectors.
Yeah, also known
and
as
researchers.
Investigator Discovery Coordinator.
Okay.
So
see, the role that McLaughlin plays at the county attorney's office in Keene, New Hampshire, is he's part-time, but where if this bill were to pass, the county attorney could just, give him, all this authority, even though he knows that he has these credibility issues. I mean, my God.
Are they overburdened with the part-time? Like, could they not bump up the part-time guy to full-time? Or is there not enough work and now we're just looking at more red tape and bureaucracy and taxpayer money for him to sit around on his ass half the day?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. But
can we get a certificate of need first? Like, our current part-time investigator is so overburdened that we're losing cases and murderers are going free. that we need this other investigator to alleviate some of that burden before we go ahead and hire more bureaucrats.
I mean, this is a guy. I mean, I'm the only one that's been able to expose this detective. This is a guy that has falsified documents and records.
Yeah.
Lied to his superiors. I mean, and God knows what else.
Well, cops are trained to lie. What's his first name? I know his name is McLaughlin. What's his first name?
James F.
James F. McLaughlin,
Yeah.
liar. I'm going to put that in the show notes.
I didn't have it for show prep here, but I did come across an article this week during my preparations, and it was in Hawaii, and it was, similar thing, right? A bad cop back on the force, and part of the reason is like they find him, they catch him, they prosecute him for whatever, and then the union, to get his job back, like argues it down to a suspension, and then he's eligible for rehire after the suspension.
Because anybody in the regular world, their employer would probably be like, "You're a liar. I don't like that personally, and I'm going to get rid of you." But in cops' world, it's like, that's
it's a
fine.
perk. It's a benefit. It's a
Thanks for
qualification you
lying.
look for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great job.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what I'm learning, because this is all a front row seat for me, and I've done all of the work that I've done, on my own, but I have also asked for help. But if you really want to make change, you got to go to these hearings and testify in these hearings and tell the people about, what has happened to you or what's going on or what have you. That's just my opinion, but
the whole Lori list should be an immediate disqualifier, not eligible for rehire.
And it's also insane that it's not public because of the New Hampshire. I think it's Article 8 is that it has to. The whole government has to be open and transparent to the people, and they usually are like, "Dang it, you got me! You said the magic word. I have to tell you my name now." But somehow they're allowed to have a secret list of lying cops.
Right. But you can get the list, right? But they still let them be cops. It's like, why would you do that? This guy who's like a known liar and, falsifying documents, right? Why would you even want him? Why would you even want him on your side? Because
that's a conflicting value.
Well, because if it does come out and gets caught, right, it calls it, this, I think this is part of what you're working through, Rob, personally, right? If he gets caught, it calls into question all of his previous cases that they then have to dig up and rehash and remedy. So it's not even like it's not even a good value to hire anyone like that.
Well, I just don't understand why, the county would take on, the liability of this cop.
Yeah, maybe he's got something on one of them.
That's a great point. Maybe they
or he's got a good union rep.
Yeah,
right, because that's what the union rep does.
Well,
you can't fire him without fighting us.
Thank you for the call, Rob from Vermont. Very great to save us from those other callers. But let's go to this unscreened wireless caller. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Oh, greetings. Vermont and San Francisco. Hey, I'm glad you're talking about this, as if it's a mysterious budget kind of issue. I was just looking at a piece, Majority Report, of course, is one of the radio shows, and he's just interviewed a guy about the apparently Trump is frauding a whole lot of data. First of all, the ICE people are not necessarily getting their paychecks. And if you know about, Trump and his employees for the last 50 years, he was famous for never paying people. He wouldn't pay the window washers. He wouldn't pay the doorman. He wouldn't pay the plumbers. Well, he's not paying
it's amazing people still work for him.
Right. And so ICE people think that they're going to get a $50,000 signing bonus, but apparently they've got to work there for 5 years before they even get a taste of it.
Well, that's usually up front, too, because you're not going to pay someone $50,000 and they quit a week later, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that part of it.
Well, the reality is, though, is that if you see this piece, like I say, it's Majority Report, and I think the headline on there is they captured the Antifa headquarters, and they're interviewing this reporter, And apparently they just, some guy that was helping people wash, the pepper spray out of their eyes got declared the headquarters for Antifa. And so he then goes into, some of the breakdowns of these ICE people who not only are not getting their health benefits, they're not getting their signing bonuses, some of them even aren't getting their paychecks, but then they're getting into the other aspects of it, that they're not really arresting or rounding up immigrants as quickly or as thoroughly as they claim to, and that their numbers, like if ICE captures somebody, well, Homeland Security is going to try to take the credit, and then the Borders and Customs will take the credit. And so that one person might actually come up as the 3 in the total.
There's people on the right making that claim too, right? Like, you guys are all mad about ICE, but like Donald Trump isn't even deporting as many people as Obama did.
Yeah, and I heard that I heard a new, who was it that gave me new, I'm not going to remember who it was, but somebody gave me a new insight onto that, and it was just like a bunch of people were turned away at the borders by Obama. So that's kind of different, right? It could be that Obama is actually deporting a lot, that Trump is actually deporting a lot more people in this fashion of like, hey, you've been here and we're going to grab you off the streets and deport you. Apparently Obama's numbers were inflated by turning away a lot of people.
Okay, that's fair.
And just barely heard that.
You mean Trump, not...
No, Obama.
Other way around. I'm not trying to make anybody's point necessarily. I'm just saying I've been trying to get the truth about this, and I've heard that Obama deported a lot more people than Trump, and the thing is that a lot of Obama's numbers were inflated by...
The deportations at the border, not people that have come in and have overstayed their welcome in some form or fashion.
And I'm not saying that's a positive or negative for Trump or not. I'm not making any claim like that. I'm simply like...
Sure.
Seemed unbelievable.
The other thing that gets into it, you've probably heard about Tom Homan. I guess he's border security head.
Czar.
And he took a $50,000 bag of cash. Well, part of his scams was that he was giving contractors, undue influence for giving them contracts. And part of those contracts were for, say, like food for while they're in prison, the gas for the vehicles for, so all of these contracts they're corrupt contracts. Well, if, say, for example, they say they really, captured 3 times more people than they really did, are they billing the U.S. taxpayers for 3 times more breakfasts, lunches, dinners, handcuffs?
If they can get away with it, they are.
Exactly. So, this gets into a whole new layer of the corruption of Trump. And he's famous. Long ago, this was while Daddy Trump was still alive, and Donald was kind of being given management of his old man's operations. He was able to cheat the government. Trump's, he had a whole bunch of, I don't want to call them welfare hotels, but, the housing projects. And say like he had to buy 50 different washing machines or a whole bunch of stoves. Well, he would have one of his kids have the contract for the stoves, and another kid have the contract for the washing machines, and another one have the contract for this, that, or the other. And then he was able to double bill everything. So he would have the one kid take possession of the stoves to begin with, and then the paperwork would be shot over to the dad, and then they would send it to the U.S. government to get paid. So the same scam, here it is 50 years later, and he's pulling the same scam on the U.S. government.
It sounds like a lot of kvetching that's very partisan. I'm sure the left and the Democrats do a lot more than that. I don't know how this advances the idea of liberty in the United States or in New Hampshire or the Free State, but I'd rather go on to some other corruption which is prevalent in the United States, not just...
Well, David is in San Francisco, but also...
Right, but I mean, in a family, we know that these guys do this, right? I mean, but how does it affect us as we the people? What can we do at the more fundamental grassroots level to just opt out of the whole thing, right?
Refresh the tree.
opt out of things that
Opt
cause you
out
to
of
pay
things.
taxes. That's a great
Right,
way.
exactly.
Using Bitcoin is a great way.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for the call, David. Sorry, there just really are a lot of callers on, and I want to get to Turd Ferguson in Pennsylvania. Thank you for the call, David from San Francisco. Turd in Pennsylvania, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
The Commonwealth of Shrewsbury.
Yeah, that's right.
Even worse,
and thank God you hung up on the guy from the Commonwealth of San Francisco. Why not just move to L.A. and specifically toward Hollywood? I'll never understand it.
I didn't hang up on him. I mean, like, I guess so, but after a conversation with him, not just, like, hung up in his face or something.
Yeah, right.
His call was fine. There was
gotcha.
nothing wrong with his call. I just wanted to move on.
Except it wasn't Turd.
Well, what's on your mind, sir?
Me.
What's on your mind?
Well, and he was also from
15-year-old
San
girls.
Francisco,
Do you want to be on
well,
with James Whittakind?
Yeah, put me on with James Whittakind.
Oh my goodness! Why would you do that?
Oh, I hung up on Turd. Turd, call back.
Oh,
I did it wrong. I did it wrong.
Is that Turd?
Yes. Give me 1 second, James, and I'll get back to your call. We have now Turd Ferguson
is on.
Presses again. Press
Okay.
that. No, press
No.
it and press it again.
Press the
To lock.
buttons.
Yeah, I thought I'm doing it right. I
Okay.
felt like I
we
was
have
doing
Turd.
it right.
Turd, can we hear your voice? Turd, make sure.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
And
now
it
let's.
should change color in order to lock you in, and it's not. So,
Is it supposed to be blinking? One's solid and one's blinky blink.
all right, maybe I have to wait for it to stop blinking, and then I press it.
Now it's solid.
It's solid.
All right, here we go.
Turd, let us know if
Push
it
the
hangs
buttons,
up.
Bonnie.
All right, you're on with James in Arizona. Turd, what's Turd and James?
James,
Bear.
what's up, buddy?
Hey,
James,
Bear.
I
Hey,
feel
Bear.
like I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Bear, I called into so-called Free Talk Live, where callers
Allegedly
get
Free Talk
control to
Live.
talk to you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a liar, Richie. That's why I say it's.
Hey, James, why don't you pick up
Bear?
James, why don't you pick up my call?
Hey, guys, one person at a time.
You're broadcasting, Bear. You're broadcasting from a place called a church, which is, of course, as you know, a tax scam.
You've been talking about this for
I'm
years.
not broadcasting from any place, and you
Bear,
might
I
want to
can
look
hear
up that
Turd
word.
laughing. Bear, I called in to talk
I'm going
to
to hurt you, Minister Edge.
Well, what is your wish? So what do you want to say to me?
That's not a threat.
Jack
Jackie,
All right, can we do one person at a time? Can we meet?
Jackie is now old enough to fend for himself. Bear, I
person
called
at a
in to
time.
talk to you.
All right, talk to
Are
me.
you a man?
What am I a man?
By legal definition?
Why do you have? Why do I have to answer that question? I don't owe you. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you.
Bear, I called in. I asked you a question. Are you a man that believes that honor is all you have? Pretty much, since I'm imagining that the church that you're broadcasting from doesn't.
I'm a man
actually
of
worship.
honor, in my own opinion.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to establish.
James,
Go ahead.
the call is boring and paranoid. I want to know why you don't take my
Turd
call
is
anymore.
talking
whenever I
over
call.
me, Bear. Why don't you tell him to shut the? You know what?
You're gonna have to drop
So
Turd.
that I can
Drop
speak.
Turd.
All right.
James,
I didn't
you
call.
We want to
in
drop
talk to
Turd?
Yeah, drop Turd.
All right, sorry, Turd. I hope this doesn't drop you both. Yep. Okay.
No,
so
it
go ahead,
didn't, but-
James.
Hey,
What's
Bear Arms? Bear Arms. That's a great moniker. Like I told the FBI.
I agree.
when they
I do like it.
When they called me unsolicited,
Mm-hmm.
if I may say to Richie, that if I were to have a Bitcoin for every time Colin Ferguson called my phone number, I don't
Get
know
to
where
your
he
point,
got it.
sir.
But
I don't know
heard
what you're trying
Bonnie
to say.
My
He
full
got his name wrong,
on
actually.
Who's Colin
public
Ferguson?
Yeah, he got the name
No,
wrong.
let me
I know his
speak.
name.
Is it Craig Ferguson?
I
from
have
the
no
Late
idea.
Show?
Listen, you've been on for 3 minutes. I don't know what your question is.
Bear,
Just-
I have
Are you a
begged
man?
to speak. By the way, Bear, callers get to take control, but I literally was put on hold to have to listen.
I don't
to
care.
somebody
What's
else
your
call
point?
me.
Get to your point.
No, my point is, Bear, listen to me very carefully, because I've never threatened anybody in my life.
Sure.
BS?
Yet-
Well, BS?
Yet the two people that you're sitting next to have made the allegation, of which, by the way, the people they said I threatened, they're doing just fine, and I think they're probably in like Costa Rica or Honduras right now.
I have no idea what you're
evading the
talking
man.
about.
That doesn't mean you didn't make the
What-
threat.
I'm
What's your
talking about
point?
Mark should be Dedgington. That's who I'm talking about.
What do you
There
want
it is
from me?
again.
Yeah, wow, what a-
That's
what a
who I'm
great-
talking about. But may I say to Bear real quick?
Representation
the guy
of
that
your
you just
character.
that you just put me on hold to have to listen to,
So what?
has called. If I had a Bitcoin for every time he called my phone number, which I didn't give him my last name.
What's your point?
Bonnie's
What's your
boyfriend that's in
question
jail
for
right
me?
now did.
What's your question for me?
No,
I'll get to it. I just
No.
wanted to-
I'm not interested in your story.
Listen to me.
All right, hang up
Yeah,
on
I
this
think I
lady.
am going to have to hang up on you.
Hang up on this
I'll ask you
lady.
the
Come on.
question then.
Come on.
I'll
James,
ask you the
if you don't
question
want to,
I'll
ask
ask
him
you
the
the
question about
question then.
Ask the
himself. Go ahead.
question.
Oh, Bear, since you don't want to hear what I have to say
Ask the question.
about how many times Turd Ferguson has called my phone
Last
number.
chance.
Snuck it in.
Because of your
I have no
station?
idea what you're talking about. What is your
Okay,
question? I
I
have no
know,
idea
okay,
who
good,
you are.
good.
I don't know who.
I'm going to
Okay,
reach
I'll
over the
ask you
table
a
and push the
question.
button for Bonnie.
No, I want him to ask.
Let me ask
Okay.
you the question then, which actually originally meant for Bonnie.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you a man?
What if I go? No, I don't think you're an honorable man. That's my point. That was that point. I don't think you're an honorable man. And the reason why Ian Bernard is in jail right now isn't because of his lawyer. It's because of Ian Bernard. That's why he's in jail right now. Not because he had a crappy lawyer.
I was at his
which
trial.
You you literally made no mention of the defendant that was found guilty of the crimes that he did commit. You blamed his lawyer. But that's okay.
Yeah, I
but let
made
me ask
no
you a
mention of
question.
him, even though we're
Let
talking
me-
about him by
let me
first and
make
last
the
name.
Don't talk
What's the
over me,
question?
Bonnie.
What's your question?
Oh, all of a sudden
We're running out of time.
Okay, Bear. If I were to go into Ian Freeman's cell right now, and to quote a former former Free Talk Live host who said, if I were to use a wrench or something like that, Christopher Cantwell, by the way, said that to Mark Edgington.
Damn. Get to your
About-
point, lady.
Yeah, there's a person that's dead right now because Mark Edgington. If I were to make like Mark Edgington and go into Ian Bernard's cell right now,
I have no
and use a
idea
wrench-
what you're
That's
talking
pretty
about.
sick. That's
I
pretty
have
sick.
no
I'm just gonna have
idea
to hang up on that. I mean,
what
like
you're talking
he's
about.
talking violently, but in code. I know what he's trying to say, but
Okay.
it wasn't getting to his point.
So
it was
Mark,
also like
for those who don't know, Mark was convicted of murder.
because he took the plea deal, which he shouldn't do.
Fair
he
enough,
said.
but he was young and served his time and came out and was like a responsible, productive member of society
Right.
after serving his time.
And he didn't
So
do
what
the
more
act,
could you
so
ask
you
for?
can't really make like a Mark Edge and hurt somebody because he didn't do the act.
Sure.
It was
So the reason the
technicality.
reason why he's calling, in my opinion, is to maybe correct me in my opinion that Ian Freeman is innocent. And the reason I believe Ian Freeman is innocent is because I haven't found an injured party.
That's a great point.
He's been charged with a regulatory crime where the regulatory agency never even showed up for his trial. That is a jurisdictional failure. He's been charged with transmitting money without a license, and yet no one's proved him to be a money transmitter within the meaning of that term. So I don't see how he could be judged as guilty except by fraud and by presumptions that were never proven.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean,
because of the jury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring me an injured party, somebody who's actually been defrauded by Ian, and I will change my mind.
And you want to know what's great? Whenever
I would change my mind.
Whenever his co-defendants took plea deals for fraud charges, which Ian did not even have, he didn't go to court with fraud charges, but his co-defendants did, and they took plea deals for it. The judge said that their victim was the banks. They never said that in Ian's case for whatever reason.
And did the banks ever show up for Ian's trial to claim victimhood?
Nope, they didn't.
So then, who's the victim? I mean, if there's no victim, there's no crime.
Correct.
There it is.
That's the way it should be, but clearly that's not the way it is.
That's just not the way it's enforced, but it's the way of, it's the truth of the matter. More Free Talk Live at freetalklive.com. Thank you for listening, except for James, and peace.
Wow, James.
This hour of Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash Digital Cash. Dash is the cryptocurrency designed to be used for spending. Tired of the ever-inflating US dollar? You can live your life on Dash instead with some handy websites. BitRefill.com has been accepting Dash for years and has a ton of big-name retailers and brands including grocers, gas stations, phone refills, Amazon, and even prepaid MasterCards. Plus, many of their gift cards are available at a discount. But what about paying your bills? Spritz.finance can do that, and they can send dollars to your bank account in case you still need those for some reason. Dash is one of the oldest cryptocurrencies and is widely available on exchanges, including the decentralized Maya protocol, and in multi-crypto wallets. It's easy to get and use Dash. Start by learning more at Dash.org. Thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month to promote Dash on